Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone Talk special. Yeah, so after yesterday's events, not yet, yeah, it was yesterday, wasn't it? See, I've already forgotten about it, but I'm only messing. But after yesterday's events, we've had time to reflect now on what's happened. So this is what we're going to do. Anybody that wants to be a guest tonight, send me a message. Yeah. Send me a message so I know it's you guys. So I know for a fact who I'm bringing on. So if you want to come on, let me know and I will send you an email. That's how this is going to work tonight. Now, it's going to be panel tonight. I'll bring on as many people as I can. But as I said, it's only people that obviously that verify who they are. And I think that's fair. Just in case there is any trouble tonight, I will say to the moderators, just make sure that you take care of any troll that comes in, and do me a favor as well, because I know it was the last time. Don't time them out, right? Report them and then hide them from the channel. Okay, don't time them out because want them removed completely. Okay, because there has been a bit of a fallout. So just to fill you in, so already we've got the toxic fans, not the Jodie Whittaker fans, no, the toxic fans, the ones that have been bullying the fandom and basically playing the victim. They're coming out now saying that if it's another man, especially a white man, they're going to leave the show. Well, here's my response to that. Leave. Nobody will miss you. As I said, you have been a stain on this fandom, just like this era has. It's quite simple, and it's easy to see that you aren't fans, and you are finally exposing your true colours. There's no room for you in this fandom anymore. And it's time for you to go. And listen, here's the thing. You think that fans are opposed to a woman being the doctor. If you have been watching this channel, a lot more people have kind of warmed to the idea it was a good actress. But for now, I think it should go back to a man. I think, and here's the thing, it's going to sound ridiculous, but someone actually said it. You'd be refreshing the show again, believe it or not. You could rotate it anyway. I don't know what the big issue is. I still have my own beliefs on it. I'll always believe that it is a male lead, but as they say, you got to kind of change with the times. I don't necessarily agree with it, but Chris Chibnall has certainly messed it up for any other woman to come in and take over now. So if yous are gonna leave because it's not going to be another woman, and most of the comments are like, I hope it's another woman because it'll upset the not my doctors. Again, they're going on with this not my doctors nonsense. But again, it shows what their motive is. They don't want another woman because it would be good for the show. They want another woman because it would upset a few people out there. And that's, you know what I mean? That's no motivation. They don't care about the show. They don't care about the show. They're very quick to abandon the show as soon as Jodie Whittaker walks out the door with Chris Chibnall. Right? Very quick. Now, people complain about me online, as you know, right? All that other nonsense. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into it anyway. Right? But people complained about me giving out about Doctor Who, right? And keep saying, he hates the show, this, that, and the other, right? I've watched every single episode of Jodie Whittaker's run. Every single episode. Right? And the reason why I did is because I'm a Doctor Who fan. I mightn't be a fan of this era, but I still watch it. I still watched it. I didn't run off the way yous are all saying now that yous are gonna do if it's a man that takes over the role. I didn't run off when Jodie took over. Yeah, I was annoyed. Yes, I was upset. Yes, I made me feelings clear, right? And I did review this whole era, and I didn't like what I saw. And I had every right to have my opinions, right? But now all of a sudden now Jodie is leaving, and yous all want to abandon the show. This is what I'm talking about. You ain't real fans. Yous latched on because it was a woman, because you shared the ideals of this doctor. Now, I did a video just before we come on. Some of you might have seen it. I just realised, right, I worked on that video all night, by the way, getting all those articles and all together. And then I was so tired, I put it up at, I think it was 9 o'clock this morning. So it would pass all the criteria. And I just realised when I premiered the video that I'd made a mistake right at the start of the video. I was supposed to say already or something, and it says already. So it looks weird. But I think you've all got the gist from the video. And I showed you a brief... Listen, I could do about 20 of those videos. Right? It's been so toxic in this fandom for so long. Now, if they want to go. Don't let the door hitches on the way out, you know. We don't care. We want the show to go back to basics, right? To entertain, right? For their stories to mean something, you know. Everybody has different tastes when it comes to Doctor Who, but you know, at the end of the day, the BBC has alienated not just the British public, the worldwide fans, you know, also, you know, the Doctor Who fans. Now, you see, this show, we got all of these messages that Doctor Who was supposed to be for everybody. Everybody. Now, I'm going to tell you all something very interesting. In that video, I featured a feminist group, right? Now, here's the weird thing. All of those feminist groups have disappeared all of a sudden. Now, I did an investigation with another person online, John White, in the early days. And we uncovered a ton of stuff, right? It was like as if they had information on certain people. And then I was actually looking at comments last night because I wanted to see were those groups still around, and they're gone. But when I was looking in, someone actually said something very interesting. I wonder if Noel Clarke was on the feminist front's list, because these women, and I've showed you some of their posts. I even showed you their little statement where they were saying about sex cells and all of this, and wanting Jodie Whittaker and another female companion to hook up. Right, you seen their posts, right? They were calling out YouTubers and stuff, anybody that criticised this era. Now, all of those feminist groups all of a sudden are gone. Now, they were gone a couple of months ago. So my theory is because they were claiming to be in there in the writer's room guiding Chris Chibnall and his team. This is the claims that these were making. Now, there was a Comic-Con or a conference held, a Doctor Who convention held, and it was just all the female directors and producers that worked on the show. Sophia Aldred was there as well. And then soon after that, apparently it's cringy, man. Apparently they got a 12-minute standing ovation and everybody was hugging and crying, right? Because they were telling stories or whatever. Fair enough, right? If things bad were happening, that's great, right? Sort it out. It's good to talk about it, get it out there so we can highlight these things. But born from that was all of these little groups like the Feminist Front, the screenwriters, feminists, Doctor Who writers, all of that. They start getting involved in the show. All of those groups have disappeared. and they disappeared a couple of months back. So I reckon they already knew the decision that Jodie was gone, and they would face a backlash from fans that they picked on. So they've deleted all their accounts. Their accounts don't exist anymore. Either that or they're gone underground. But either way, this era of Doctor Who was used for one purpose and one purpose only: to forward the feminist agenda. Unfortunately, what they didn't realise is most women that watched rejected what they were seeing on screen. The ratings prove it. It wasn't just blokes that turned away. See, they keep blaming the men, right? They keep saying, oh, it's men, right? There's a lot of women that don't like this era. We've even seen them being bullied offline because they don't want them online to get to actually, say that they don't like it, because they have to have this the propaganda where it's just men. Men are sexist, it's men. They don't want a strong female character and all of this other rubbish that they come out with. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, a lot of women hated what Jodie Whittaker's Doctor was doing, and they blame Chris Chibnall. But it's funny, man. It's funny. We get blamed. There's a lot of women in this fandom, right? And they don't like this. It's an absolute joke. Try to make it out it's always men. Right, hold on now. What I'm going to do now is so I've got, here we go. I'm starting to get the invites out there now. But this is what's happened from day one. Now, if you look at the video that I did, now I only threw up some of the articles of the time when she was cast, when she was announced and all of that. I showed you some of the comments that were made towards Peter Capaldi and stuff like that, right? A lot of shit went down. And when you look back, it's actually quite shocking. And you could see the rhetoric that all of these interviews were going in. Now, Stylist was a very big supporter, Stylist magazine, very big supporter of her. Now, what I didn't mention in that video was, yes, she did that interview, but she also did a Stylist video where she poked fun at fans that didn't like her casting. And there was a lot of mistakes made back then. Like, she was highly promoted, but if you look back at the promotion, it was very cold towards the fans. Very cold towards the fans. I don't understand. It was like as if from day one they were self-sabotaging themselves. And listen, you will see that I actually put a lot of effort into that video, even though there is a mistake at the start of it. But all the articles I listed, I really went back and I read these articles as well, and the interviews. It's actually crazy, man, the rhetoric that was coming out back then. And then trying to make out that fans liked her and all of this. And then they said, well, ignore the Daily Mail comments. Right, I know Daily Mail is a bit of a right-wing paper, but there was fans in there complaining about it. Some of the comments were bang out of order, of course, because, back then there was a lot of... You've got to remember, I think the other side forget as well, right? Jodie Whittaker is announced, and then straight away then there's all this rhetoric, right? And there's the breaking of the glass ceiling. Then you have Piers Wenger and others within the BBC coming out making comments about Peter Capaldi not being universally loved, and then saying about the daftness and the idiocracy of the show, right? They added fuel to the fire. They act as if they're all innocent, right? BBC didn't help the situation. Jodie didn't help the situation, and it was all being driven behind the scenes by a bunch of radical feminists. I'm telling you, that investigation that was done, it might sound crazy, but I was watching a video with it all put together, all the stuff we'd put together. I came across a video because, as I said, I was trying to see if these groups still existed. It's quite startling what was going on, and we have to be careful now and cautiously optimistic, because We don't know what's going to happen next, but they're not going to go down quietly. That's the thing. And the fact you've already seen the behavior of the others, they're willing to abandon the show like that because they're not getting their way now. Well, leave, just leave. You know, let's get the fandom back to some sort of normality. I don't think it'll ever recover from this era. I don't think it will. But if we can get a bit of peace now, and you know, as I said, for me personally, I think they do need to go back back to a bail this time round. Hold on, I've got a few more emails to send them, but we've already got 2 waiting. I'm gonna bring, as I said, this is a panel. We've got a couple of people that want to come on, so I'm just saying I forgot to check Twitter, so I'm getting to yous now. Right, but there's been some more things said anyway in the press. So I got a couple of the screenshots to read out as well, which will be interesting to hear what they're saying. It'll be the first time that I'm reading them, but I know I'm at the getting. See, I got loads of stuff today. Right, hold on. I to bring. Lee, I sent you your email. Jack, if you want to come on, send me your email address on Twitter, will you? So I know it's definitely you. Anyway, well, it is your account, so send me your email. So I sent Lee his. If anybody else wants to come on, as I said, send me a message. So yeah, hold on now. Where's this stuff? Well, it'll be nice to see the fandom settle down, but I doubt it very much, to be quite honest. These fans aren't going to go quietly though. And I can tell you now, right? And I could see this coming. And nobody really listens to me that too often. But you should listen to me when I say this. These guys are going to try influence the BBC's decision now over the next few months. That will be their goal. That's what they're going to do, right? Now, as I said, if BBC listen to them yet again, right? Well, then they've just signed the death warrant of Doctor Who. They must ignore the rabble, right? And as I said in the video, cast on talent, right? Whether that's a man or a woman, but you cast on talent, no agenda behind it, you know, and then get back to basics. Get back to telling stories. Get back to giving us scary monsters, you know, running down corridors. Nobody's giving out about that, right? But give us some stories that's not going to bore us to death. Doctor Who used to be an exciting show too. Right. Oh, yeah. I'm just waiting to see if I got an email. There we go. Okay, I did. Just bear with me, folks. We got loads of people coming on. Loads. I have to send out. I think Josh is coming on as well. We have loads of people coming on. Right. So I'm gonna. I know it's a pain to do it this way, but it saves any nonsense happening tonight. You know, we want to be able to talk without any distractions. Very important. Right, Jack, I've sent you. Lee, could you send him that link if you can? Right, hold on. Okay, doors are banging everywhere. Right, just waiting on a couple of more emails. Right, but we'll start bringing everybody on. Right, thanks, Lee. Yeah, you can come on. Yeah, I said the more the merrier. You can bring it up tonight now. But I will now listen, just for because I do it myself. But I'm gonna try and make a really good effort, right? Not to cut across anybody, but I don't want people talking over each other tonight now, right? Want everybody to be able to get their point of view across. Right, hold on. Who am I sending an email? Oh yeah. Jesus. I'm starting to lose track, but hold on. Go. That's good. Right. Aha. Yeah, it's still there, Josh. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. You can't be too careful these days, because I have become a target. I'm not talking about it, but all I'll just say, it's pathetic. The day that Jodie Whittaker leaves, someone decides that they'll use it as an opportunity to attack me, and we're not going to even talk about it. But I just wanted to get that out there. What a pathetic loser! Get over yourself. No, you're good, Josh. I've sent you the email, mate. I know. We've been getting trolls over the last few weeks. So I've sent PD Rich's email. I've sent Josh's email. So we'll wait for them to come on, and I will start bringing on my guests. So I'm going to do it in order, actually. So the first person that I see in front of me has come a long way. Yeah, folks. He's come all the way from Scarrow, yeah, and he settled down in Scotland. Don't know why you would with all that rain, but he's a big Celtic fan. It's the one and only Scottish Davros.
I want to know how are you this evening?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Oh yeah, I'm not too bad.
That's brilliant. Right, we'll move swiftly on. We'll bring everybody on.
Yep.
We got a bit of royalty now with us. Yes, it's the one and only Queen Charlotte.
Oh, hasn't the reaction just been glorious?
Yes, it has.
I think it's been even better than I expected, and I'll leave it at that so you can bring somebody else on.
Right, let's bring him on, because he's a human. He's a human being, but he's also a problem being. It's the one and only problem being. Hey, Lee.
Evening.
How are you?
All right.
Right,
Lee's full of
right. Moving swiftly on before he starts bleeding talking. Right, Our next guest is an artist, and he's a very good artist, I have to say. He did some lovely alien posters for us when we were doing the movie streams. He also draws bunny rabbits, people as bunny rabbits. No, it's brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant, I have to say. He did a deadly one of Az and Gary from Neurotics. Bleeding deadly it is. But it's the one and only Jack Main. Hey, Jack.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, we can hear you lovely and clear, Jack. That's good.
Yeah. We can.
Yeah, this is why it's better on my laptop.
Right.
Yeah, I think that as well.
Let's bring on our next guest, because we have two more to go. He hasn't been on in a while, but he's here. It's nice to actually see him, because he hasn't. It's been, I don't know how long it's been, but it's really been a while. But it's Josh.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
it
Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hey.
Oh,
Queen Charlotte. Hi, Scottish Davros. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
We
Yeah,
can be
and
here.
see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, we've got one more guest and we'll get this show on the road. It's the one and only. He's our pal. He looks after the chat, throws up the links to everybody's channels. He's always on it, I have to say. Himself and Chris, they'll do brilliant. That's not to take away from the rest of the mods. He's still great. But these lads go that little bit extra for me, I have to say.
do.
They're brilliant. It's the one and only PD Rich.
Hey, and hey to
Oh.
Raquel in the chat. Nice to see you.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm fine, mate. How you doing? After all the commotion is broken and everyone's going crazy.
Yeah. Do you know what? Did we expect anything else from them? Like the
No,
reaction?
we knew it was all going to collapse the second it was called.
yeah, exactly.
Well, we knew that they were only here for politics. So as soon as it was official that they were going to show that they basically want a spike casting, that's the term I'm going to use.
Spike casting, spot on.
They don't want a talent. They don't want somebody who's good for the show. They just want somebody who they think the perceived other side is going to hate. So it's a spike cast.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which
Well,
This
is
is a platform.
insane. It's
Listen,
insane.
what I'm going to do is force, right? Because the rest of you, I got you our opinions on yesterday's decision. But as Josh and Jack haven't told us, I'm going to give those two an opportunity first to tell us how they felt about yesterday's decision. So we'll start with you, Josh. So Josh, it's official. Chris Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker are gone in 2022. How do you feel?
So that in itself is good news, but there's a caveat. And Heels versus As basically mentions it, and he says there's a third player that's involved, which is the BBC, and they have a mandate to get it. And I think they might even double down or get as woke as possible. So in terms of what's next, we're at a crossroads. We all knew it was the worst kept secret that they would probably leave together. They would probably leave after 3. So it's official. I think they were really stupid to come out with a Comic-Con panel that told us nothing, that gave us a 30-second trailer that showed nothing, that showed a guest star. The special guest was absolutely a non-factor.
Yep.
Just was on Game of Thrones. Oh, this is someone who happens to be in the next series. It's all one big story. So the first part flops, the whole thing is going to flop. But I think they're at a crossroads here. It's who they're going to choose next. Are they going to retcon it, which I don't think they will. I mean, retcon it back, which is what a fan like me is hoping. Someone who loves the classic series and everything up to and including Capaldi. But again, it's a real crossroads. Yes, the news is good. They're leaving, but the damage is done. They've gone scorched earth. They really have. And it's going to be really hard to go back to the glory that it once has unless they make an effort. And there's nothing that's coming out to suggest that they are going to make an effort. Who's going to be the next showrunner? Who's going to be the next doctor? My big fear, and it's one that's well founded, is that they want to come and want to go even more woke, to come up with whatever transgender doctor, this doctor, that doctor, whatever, just to check boxes and not to go and honor the show that we love. That's what I fear.
Okay, Josh. Jack, would you like to give your opinion on the decision that was made?
Well, I think Josh has summed it up perfectly, actually. I think we're all just so happy and excited that Chibnall and Whittaker are gone. We're not actually thinking, well, what comes after could potentially be worse. And, even though we've gotten rid of the bad showrunners and the bad actor, we still have the biggest problem of all, and that's the BBC themselves. And as I've said, if Doctor Who does get good again, I'll back it 100% because I'm a fan, but I don't think I can stand another getting my hopes up only to have it smashed.
Is that what it is for you all on the panel, guys? That you,
Yeah.
because you have been burned so many times.
Fool
Even
me
though
once, shame
this
on
is
me. Fool me
exciting,
twice, shame on
even
you.
though this news is exciting, you are still cautiously optimistic, but at the same time, you have that fear that it might blow up in our faces. Is that how you are all feeling?
Yeah, I worry also they've still got another season to go. What else are they going to destroy?
Yeah.
Because, you know, the scripts have already been written.
Well,
I'll lift
scrolled
Josh
on with
Tardis.
crayon, you know.
Yeah.
Josh, lift your Tardis up.
There we
That's
go.
the one you got in Comic-Con, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Toronto. It's called the Fan Expo, and they just announced that Christopher Eccleston is coming this year in October. So, but because of COVID, they're having limited tickets. I'm going to see if I can purchase one. But it changes color. I like that.
That's brilliant. I do like the blue though. Can you keep it on a certain color though?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You just have to get the button. Let me get it back to blue. There we go.
Oh wow! Imagine that, in the
What?
dark, lads and ladies. That's something else.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
But back to what we were talking about. So, is that what it is? You are all feeling apprehensive because we have been burned before. Do you not think, though?
Yeah.
And I'll just throw this out there, and then you can respond to this. Do you not think, that the decision now has been made that maybe BBC do realise that they've made a mistake, or do you think it was a 3-year, or 3 series pact, and they were always going to leave? What do you guys think actually happened?
I just remember Bolstrek's video from a long time ago where he said there was a 5-year contract, and then I realised, oh, it's been 5 years, even though they've only done 3 seasons. So I can't picture the BBC changing anytime soon.
Anybody else want to add on?
I think I know what it is as well. Sorry, Charlotte, you go ahead.
Here's what my hope is, and I've noticed this today.
Right.
I've never seen a doctor's passing being so celebrated. I've never seen a doctor being announced they're going with a showrunner, and like 95% of the fandom is absolutely cheering it on and being excited.
Well, they can finally express it. I think that's the thing.
No, but that's what I think it's so loud that the BBC will notice this. I think they will
they've noticed
see
all
this.
this time. They just ignored it.
Lee, I'll ask you this question. Do you think these fans now they're not fans, but do you think these people that have been supporting this era are going to get a reality check over the next few weeks and months?
Yes, because I think the BBC is going to slowly pull away any support they've had. They won't do it all at once. Yeah. I think it will be like the merchandise. That's been a gradual thing of Whittaker being phased out, and I think the BBC will not want to openly show it, but they'll gradually. And I agree with you what we said. I think the reason why they've announced this so early in comparison to other Doctor announcements is they're giving themselves breathing room.
Yeah.
And I think they knew this backlash was coming, so they were trying to leave it till last minute to announce. And something has made them have to, something's made them shoot before they wanted to shoot almost.
I reckon it's the merchandise. But Lee, I'll ask you because for once you've actually haven't had a chance to say it. But what are your thoughts on everything that's happened so far?
Well, I think all the points that have been raised today are pretty much in concurrence with what I said yesterday. I think it's that cautious optimism, but it's the hard reality check. I think is in balance. It's Schrodinger's fandom right now. Who's going to get what they want? I think the BBC is so far gone down the road of these identity politics, and they've got it in their charter and all the rest of it, and of course they've got that common purpose infiltration, this kind of postmodern, post-Marxist organization that puts people in place. And until that culture is challenged or got rid of, cut out, basically, I find, I don't know. I mean, it seems. I mean, I was watching. I don't know if it was the BBC, but it probably was, because it was so woke. It was ridiculous about how they were talking about shield maidens and Viking times. It was on some Twitter video. Someone filmed it off the TV, and they were talking about shield maidens and if they had been in battle during the time of the Vikings. And then this woman went on narrating to say that back then they identified as men, and I was just like, oh, you know, it's so endemic within the media. It's so controlled, this message. I find it almost inconceivable that the BBC will backtrack at this point. I don't know if their financial dire straits are enough to shake them out of this. As for the future of Doctor Who, well, I still think it would be best going on hiatus and giving them enough space and time. You know, if you want to talk about giving them time and space, I think really what they need to do is put it on hold until they can really sort out the culture of the BBC and what's going to happen with the BBC, because the BBC might not even be here in 2023 the way they're going. So I think, I don't know, it's too early to say. I think it would be obviously ridiculous if the BBC didn't listen to the vast majority of the fans. If that's what they want to do, if they want to sacrifice, the studio that they had, they want to sacrifice all the merchandise sales that they've had, or not had rather. If they want to sacrifice the fandom, the general public, keep going. By all means, keep going, see what happens. I think even now a compromise wouldn't be enough, because they've gone so far to destroy this show.
Yeah.
They destroyed the fandom. Even a compromise. Okay, let's have such and such a thing, but with such and such a thing, so we can please everybody. Look, you can't do that. You can't please some of the people all the time, and all the people, all that kind of stuff. Just for fuck's sake, you had the winning formula. You screwed the pooch. Go back to the winning formula. At least for now. Experiment later, but for now, it needs to go back on track to what it was. They need someone who's smart, who's daring, who can handle the heat, because this is a poison chalice now. No matter what they do, they're going to get criticized from one side or the other. Just remember, our side is bigger, right? We may not be as vocal, but we're definitely bigger, and we're the ones with the money. So I would say, just be bold. I would say send it out to an independent company to do it for the BBC as a co-production, and then hopefully I would say that whoever does take it on understands that. As I said, they need to understand the fan, not necessarily listen to us, all our gripes and all the nonsense that goes with it, but to understand us, to understand science fiction, to understand good storytelling, good acting, good actors. Focus on that. Bring us what we want. Just good stories. That's all we're asking for. Good stories, great actors, and fun. End of.
Daniel.
Cut the politics.
Yeah, well, I can't of the opinion that they are kind of tied down with all the common purpose stuff and the diversity part. Although let's say the only way to overcome that is that the BBC eventually goes private, and then actually forces the leader or hand to try harder and entertain the public, because that's how they're getting away with injecting all this all taxes have been subsidized and without the license Yeah,
Do you think, like Lee was saying and everybody else on the panel, do you think BBC will change though?
Well, I think if enough, I think if enough sort of public pressure, I don't think it will just be of the hardcore financial pressure on them. They need the general public
Mm.
to put pressure on them. Well, um because you always want to try and attract a family audience with Doctor as well. So yeah, I think the general public has to back us a bit as well, because you can't and and you can't unleash the by yourselves.
Yeah, yeah, you're right about the general public. They have clearly walked away from this era of Doctor Who, and it is down to a lot down to the writing, a lot of bad decisions made, folks. As I said, I did a video earlier on, and you seen all the rhetoric back in the day. It's quite startling actually when you look back at how radical it actually was. The stuff that was coming out, the interviews from Chibnall, the interviews from Whitaker, our little stunt with the video, the comments made by Piers Wenger and the other guy Ian Youngs about Peter Capaldi and the show in general. I mean, like, they really went on an assault on everything that we love.
It was triumphalist. It was a triumphalist thing. Well, it's we've got your toy now, and we're going to do what we want with it, and we're going to teach you a lesson. And this is all they really care about. They are condescending. They are elitist. They are snobs. And it's come to bite them on the bum. And quite frankly, good.
Hit them in the pocketbook. Cancel PC license. They're starting, and I've seen YouTube videos about a lot of these licenses getting canceled. You got to keep going, cancel as many licenses, pull the funding, and if they're not willing to give us something we want, then we have the power. I second Lee's comments, and the pendulum has to swing back. It's gone too far in one direction. If they're not prepared to swing it back, we'll just leave, and a lot of people have.
There's only so much demoralization that the fandom can take, and if they're going to do a repeat situation, like they've learnt nothing, then that's it. I think that they've had enough chances. I mean, the fact it's gone on as long as it has, frankly, is astonishing.
Do you think they could turn it around, though? That's the thing. Do you think? Because
you have to have the will. You have to have the will to do it, and the talent.
Financially as well, they have to be hurting. So maybe they have no choice. Maybe they have been forced. Their hands have been forced, and maybe they'll drag kicking and screaming to change.
Well, it depends. It depends where they're getting money from. I mean, we know that they've had money from China. I'd like to know the details of that contract, frankly, because everything that they do is very much like what Hollywood has been doing, and we know that China's had a massive influence in that as well. It's very demoralizing. It's very propagandistic, very typical of a communist dictatorship. We had this in Russia in the 1980s with this kind of level of demoralization campaigns. And I think we need to know the details of those contracts, and if there's going to be any more influence from China going forward.
And also HBO and American money, because I didn't notice this, but if you listen to that panel, Series 13, by the sounds of it, is not being shown on HBO Max.
No, it isn't.
And I think that shows to me that HBO are not happy. That HBO have said, we're not paying you for this rubbish.
Right, I'm going to read you something. So this came out of the BBC Doctor Who page, and it says this: over the last 4 years, Chris and Jodie have made Doctor Who history and their name on the show is indelibly
Indelibly,
marked on our memories.
isn't it? Just
Listen to this now, please, just wait, and then you can comment. Right, from Rosa Parks to Ascension of the Cybermen, Chris and Jodie have given Doctor Who some of its most life-affirming and tear-jerking moments today, and we are beyond excited to see what they have in store for us in the new series this autumn. Jodie's final adventure to mark the BBC centenary in 2022 will be set to be a Doctor Who special to remember. I'd like to thank them both for their incredible work on the show. Right now, listen to this though. Now, apparently, the Stephen Moffat account that came up during the watch-alongs, I think, or this is on Instagram, I don't know, but he wrote this. It breaks my heart when a Doctor Who resigns. He said resigns, by the way.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a vacancy in the universe. Who will keep the lights on for the children? Who will fight for the monsters in our dreams? But it's too soon to be sad. There's going to be a whole new season of Jodie's charming, fast, brilliant, silly Doctor. And she's going to fight the weeping angels. Go get him, Jodie. I was going to say thank you for keeping the TARDIS safe, but no, thank you for keeping it dangerous. And then Russell T. Davis, 63, and it's got a check mark, wrote spoilers XXX. So does that mean River Song's coming back because or has he just given away something? Or
Weeping Angels.
are they that stupid that we already know about the Weeping Angels, these idiots? So it's hardly a spoiler. But
Yeah, but they might not know that's gotten out.
yeah, well, that's true.
That would be unusual for the BBC. They usually
And then someone said
hot on that kind of thing.
only Stephen Moffat leaking information that hasn't been officially announced. It doesn't need to be officially announced. I announced it, and if I announce it, it's true. And then the photographs came out, so it's already out there. So we already know. So anyway,
behind the times again.
what do you think of that, guys? Anyway, who would like to make a comment on what I've just read? First of all, the statement by, I don't know who this statement was by, but I'm pretty sure it's probably Piers Wenger or someone.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
What? Anybody want to comment on that statement there?
Sure, it's very propagandist, but the first sentence is perfect. It says, Jodie and this made Doctor Who history. Instead of making it relevant, they've made it history. It's no longer relevant. No one cares about it the way they used to. And in terms of what happens next, we'll have to see. But obviously, they're going to put on a brave face because that's what they're there to do. But I wonder if they've already chosen the next Doctor, and I wonder if anyone wants to weigh in on that.
PD wants to give his opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to get as many
That's all
people.
right, don't worry about it. No, generally, my general opinion is I'm glad it's coming to an end. I'm glad it's going to be an end this time or a bit later on next year. But I'm a bit worried now because I know because the contract's not with BBC, the license fee arm of the BBC, it's with BBC Studios. Now, is Doctor Who now going to transfer back to BBC, the BBC license arm from the studios after the 5 years contract is up? Because I'm very worried if it does, because it's going to go under all the equality and the diversity and the Jude Sarpong stuff. That's what I'm a bit worried about, because if that happens, then we probably are gonna see Michelle Cole's the next Doctor.
Right, I've got something else there of being sent, and I'll get your opinion on this PD first when I finish reading it. So it says Chris is currently writing and producing the 13th series of Doctor Who, consisting of 6 episodes, which will air later this year. It will be followed by 3 specials, the first of which will transmit on New Year's Day 2022, with the other later on in spring 2022. Jodie's final feature-length special, where the 13th Doctor will regenerate, will transmit in autumn 2022 as part of the BBC's centenaries celebration. Now, that's the BBC's celebration, as Charlotte pointed out yesterday. because just in case there's any confusion from anybody out there. Chris Chibnall took over showrunner in 2017. Across his and Jodie's time on the show, there of a who's who of stars from stage have guest starred, and then they named them all, which I don't give a crap about. Matt Stevens, executive producer, will also be leaving the TARDIS with all special episodes are complete. Matt has worked along Chris since the beginning of Chris's tenure in 2017. The most recent story revolution of the Daleks was BBC's most watched show of New Year's Day 2021, based on a 7-day consolidated figure. Spyfall Part 1 was the most watched episodes of any drama among the 16 to 34 demographic in the calendar year of 2020. Doctor Who has been in production with Jodie at the time and filming under strict COVID protocols since October 2020. Along Jodie, Manip Gill reprises her role as Yaz. John Bishop will be making his debut as Dan, and all of that rubbish, blah, blah. Jacob Anderson, blah, blah, blah. With over a year of adventures to come, the 13th Doctor still has plenty in store for fans. We will announce plans for the new generation of Doctor Who in due course. Watch this space. So that last line, we will announce plans for a new generation of Doctor Who in due course. Watch this space. PD, I'll get your reaction to that book.
Yes, it's a usual talk, isn't it, for the BBC? I think we said it the other day, or Rabbi said it. It's the new generation thing. It's going to be a new showrunner, a new doctor, and it's just going to pass the torch down. It's all torch bearing, isn't it? I don't think it's going to be a new generation, is it? Like it's Doctor Who, the next generation, have like Romana is a new Doctor and all that kind of. I think it's just going to be a new showrunner, but I think they're going to take some time. I think it's going to be a hiatus.
Right, guys. Anybody else want to comment on that? What do you think?
See, to be honest with you, like, I don't I don't really mind in how long it takes, so long as the BBC actually attempts to put the right pieces in place.
But see, that's the worry for a lot of fans, Daniel. Right now, they don't believe that BBC have the capacity to change, and that's where we're going. That's the situation we're in right now. But you know, the first indication we will get is when they announce the showrunner, and then when the showrunner then announces their doctor, then we'll have some sort of indication. To a certain extent, if it's a bloke as the doctor, well then, you know, there might be a little bit of hope that, okay, right, if it's a male doctor, well then maybe they have learned lessons, maybe they are going to do this properly. But then, as Josh said earlier, if they go down the route which they seem to be determined to go down, the show won't survive. And I agree with Daniel. Daniel's made a great point there. You know, it doesn't matter how long it takes for Series 14 to come around. If BBC do it right, they cast the right people, they get the right showrunner, and he casts the right people, you know, and they really put care and attention into it and try win back the fans. And Daniel is right. You'll never get those hardcore fans back, but you can try your best to bring back the viewing public. And that's the struggle that a new showrunner is going to have. I mean, this seems to be mission impossible if we kind of are honest about it. This is actually a mission impossible for whatever showrunner comes in, and whoever they are, and if they manage to pull it off, right, then they deserve all the praise, more than RTD and Stephen Moffat. They're in a worse position, because when RTD took it, it was a gamble, but he hit the ground running. Then when Moffat took over, the show was in a healthy state, right? So he was okay. He was up and down. But when he handed it over to Chibnall, yes, it did have its problems, but it was still in a healthy enough state.
Yeah.
Right? It's not now. It's completely, everything is fall to the wayside. Merchandise sales, Doctor Who magazine is struggling. The ratings have gone down over 56%. Like, what more? I mean, they have to change, but
as I say, I think the only way it's going to survive is if the BBC farm it out to a co-production and are as hands off
Yeah.
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I've got a
exactly.
feeling, and I think Noel, you said this. You sort of said in jest, but the more I've been thinking about it, I think whoever's coming in is going to have the power to say, "You, nobody else wants to take this job. I'm willing to.
Mm.
You let
Yeah.
me do what I want and leave me alone."
Yeah. That's
Because
what it's going to have to take. It's going to
Well,
have to
they
take
will.
someone with metal, absolute
But here,
metal.
I've got an interesting
Yeah.
tweet to show you actually though, right? Now, I said to this person, well, put your pitch out there for fans. You have probably seen me tweet. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to show you now. So someone from America, and you will recognize this person if you're a sci-fi fan, has actually put his hat into the ring and said if you are willing to cast an American, bring in an American showrunner, he'd be there in a heartbeat. And then he went, no, I mean 2 heartbeats, right? And when you see who this guy is, right? So I actually retweeted and I said, well, share your pitch to fans. Share your pitch to fans, and you never know if it's a good pitch, if fans like your idea.
Yeah.
And that's the way I think someone needs to do. I think someone needs to come out publicly, like what Neil Blomkamp did when he wanted to do Alien 5. He showed everybody the concept art, right? And kind of gave a general gist of what the show could be about.
no, and
Right?
I
think
do
that's
think
fantastic. So here it is. Here it is. What I'll show you is this. And Charlie, you can comment on this when there's you were going to say something there, so I'll let you comment on this. Look, you wait till you see this. So J. Michael Straczynski.
Straczynski.
Yeah, okay, oh, sorry. He says, I don't know if BBC would ever consider an American to show run #Doctor Who, but if so, I would be there in a heartbeat. Well, technically 2 heartbeats since 2 hearts.
Well, remember what the BBC said in response to the last American who tried to do that, the Lock and Key guy, remember? And they said, yeah, no chance, no Americans are allowed. And they were really arsy about it.
The thing was
Yeah,
created by a
For
Canadian.
anybody
Yeah.
that doesn't know who he is, though, sorry, Charlotte, go ahead, though. I'll share screen while you're talking. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's another key quality that we need for the next showrunner. They need to be open. We've had a showrunner who's hidden, who's skulked like behind his doctor, basically. He's used Jodie as a shield. We need a showrunner, whoever's next, to actually say, no, I'm going to be there, I'm going to be open, I'm going to interact with the fan base.
Right, so there he is. He's a writer of The Changeling, Babylon 5, Sense 8, autobiography, writing book, new novel, and don't post story ideas, he says. But Babylon 5, Sense 8, I've seen Sense 8. Babylon 5 is not really my thing, but I've heard good things about it. I really should actually watch
Characters are brilliant.
it.
So well written.
Changeling.
Yeah, but Sense8 is as woke as it gets, you know. I just want to point that out.
Right.
I did love it at the time, but
Right, but there you go. But this is the type of thing I think we need potential showrunners to do. Come out, throw that hat in, let fans know who actually wants the job, right? So fans can rally behind whoever they like, and you never
don't
know.
forget Chibnall didn't want to do it.
You know, get someone that actually wants to do it. And listen, Lee, whatever, if Lee Sensei was, I will agree with you, it was a bit woke, but woke is not.
Let's just say the last scene of Sensei ended on a used rainbow butt plug. So, I mean, like, you can't get any more on the nose than that.
Right, but the thing about it is, like, you know, as I said, that's what we need more people to do. Right, so he's threw his name into the hat. So who else is out there that actually wants the job? Throw your name into the hat.
Also, Joe Straczynski used to write He-Man as well. The old He-Man, the good He-Man everyone likes. Yeah.
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 Well, I know Gaiman has come out and said he's not going to put his hat in.
Well,
Yeah.
he's busy with other shows.
Yeah, he's busy ruining his own show. So
But he's kind of
Yeah.
he's kind of got he's lost the plot a little bit actually. I
That's what I
don't
mean.
know.
I'm happy he's come out and said, I don't want to touch it.
Well, I'll ask you now because you've had the day to think about this actually, and I know some of you already threw names into the mix of who you would like to see as a showrunner. But let's see if anybody's opinions changed, and we'll start with people that actually didn't throw any names in. So we'll start with you, Josh, first. Josh, who would you like to take over showrunner, and who would you cast as your Doctor?
In terms of showrunner, the guy who wrote Vampires of Venice, Toby something or another.
Whitehouse.
Toby Whitehouse. He seems to be a fan. Listen, his name has been up there as fans' number one choice, I think.
Oh.
He has really come to the fore when it comes to people given who they think. I've seen a lot of comments for Toby Whitehouse. What can I ask you why in particular Toby Whitehouse though?
Oh, okay. I thought his name was Whitehouse. Maybe I'm wrong, but that was a well-written story. I like the way he thinks. Also, like whoever wrote, like there was a couple of Capaldi ones. Whoever wrote those, like Mummy on the Orient Express, that was incredibly written. I would give a job to that person, or the person who wrote the dialogue for Capaldi's Zygon speech. That was just awe-inspiring, and I that deserves something. In terms of who's going to be a doctor, it's funny. There's been a few of them that have been. Well, it would be neat if they could get someone of the caliber of like a Hugh Laurie who played House. I don't know. It's so tough because sometimes the best ones were complete unknowns before. David Tennant was an unknown, and then he took on the role, and people loved him. Tom Baker was an unknown, and then he stepped in, and he was amazing. So, who knows? I don't know, but I just hope they go back to traditional roles. Not that I have anything against women or transgender or anything else, but they can have their own shows and everything. But this was a standard that's been created for over 53 years. And it's just why ruin something that's worked so well. So anyway.
PD?
I would give Straczynski a chance if I could, but if not, I'd actually think about, I don't want to thought about bringing Joseph Lidster back. Sorry, I'm brains in two places tonight. Who used to do
Lee Halford in the
Sarah
chat
Jane?
says that Pete McTeague is his favourite. Listen, look, logically speaking, if Matt Strevens is leaving, of course fans are gonna mention him because a lot of fans think he wrote some of the decent Doctor Who. But let's be honest, even his writing standard, it wasn't good enough. Now Chris Chibnall could have hacked away at his scripts, and that may be the case, right? But his writing is not up to scratch either. I'm sorry, I don't. He might potentially get the job, but I don't think he's good enough. I'm sorry. That's my personal feeling. I don't think Pete McTeague is the right choice for showrunner. I really don't, but he probably will get it. And if BBC give it to him, I would actually be seriously worried. Actually,
I would, because he's got this. I think the way they're talking, new generation. For me, that means we're not going to get anybody from the Chibnall camp. Why would you use that term if you're not going completely outside of the current production team?
Yeah. Who would you go for, Charlotte?
See, I do struggle on the showrunner front because I'm not as good as I'm not good at knowing showrunners. I'm more better with actors.
Right. Well,
so I'm going to go the one I've been banging on, Martin Compston, because he's a known face. He's from a big show that, if you know the Line of Duty fans, they would come and at least give Doctor Who a look, I think, a good chunk of them. Even though that show is very different, the fan base for him and the core actors in that show is massive. I think also, we've said that they probably will go for a younger male if they go male, and he's the right sort of sweet point of he's not really young like Matt, but he's not really old. He's in his 30s, I think, and I think that's a nice sort of in between. But just for his acting, we watching Line of Duty recently with Daniel. He's very good at doing sort of quiet, sort of almost manipulative doctor. I think if we got him playing a doctor, it would be a bit dark again. It would be a doctor that was a bit shifty almost. A bit you don't know whether you could trust them. And I think that after Jodie's sort of overly fluffy, overly friendly doctor would be a nice change as well. It would be sort of different because I do think whoever they do cast as 14 is gonna have to have a very different personality to Jodie because it has to stand out. And I think he could do intense as well. And also he's not the most intimidating looking fella, but if you see him in Line of Duty, he can do those scenes where he's like literally standing next to somebody who's twice the height of him because he's only a short fella. And he basically has this look in his eyes that you think, God, you're the one winning this confrontation and you're like half the height. So I really think Martin, if they would be a brilliant choice.
Lee actually let you respond to this. He says it won't become, he doesn't need it. What do you think at that point that he doesn't need it?
No, he doesn't, and I know he's got a few things coming out, but if it takes them like 2 years or even more to bring this show back, he could be in a different position then. Right now he's hot and he's got a lot of shows, but like I've got a feeling it's going to take at least a year hiatus for this show to come back.
Guys, what do you think? Lee, we'll go with you next. Actually, your doctor. Who would you go for on showrunner?
I was introduced to another name for a potential doctor from some a chap on Twitter, Bradley, who's been fantastic in our war against the crazies. Yeah. And he suggested this young Welsh actor, and I watched a film of his actually last night called something. What was it? It was about Mozart. It's something in Prague. I can't remember, but it's the actor's name is Anarin Barnard.
Right.
And
have you got a screenshot of him that I can throw up, or can you screen share a picture?
I can't screen share, but I'll let me just find a pic of him. As for showrunner, that's always the difficult one. I'm more inclined to go with someone very pragmatic, who knows what they're doing, and not necessarily a massive name, but someone who's got something under their belt, like competent. Maybe someone from the classic era can advise or be on the board, like Cartmel or Rona Munro or someone like that, who could come on as a writer or as an editor or something. As I said, I'm not keen on this showrunner business. I think it should go back to being a producer, executive producer, and a script editor. Let me just see if I can pull up a picture of.
So here's your guy there on screen.
I found one. Yeah, no, that's not a really good picture. Hold on.
It's the free one.
Hold on. We'll go down to see if there's any more pictures. No, you gave me the wiki page, so that's the photograph on the wiki.
No, there's a pic. Type in his name and David Copperfield, because he was in that film. And there's a picture of him in the top hat. He looks very doctorish. actually.
Yeah.
Very quickly in the chat, people said a year. I think it's at least a year hiatus. It's probably going to be more.
Yeah, it's about a year and a half. I do not know what's going to happen for the 60th anniversary.
It's that's what I mean. There's an uncertainty now, right now, and you can tell that a lot of fans. While I mean, Charlotte made the point. I mean, I never thought I would be at a point where I'd be celebrating a doctor and a showrunner getting the hell out of there. But that's how bad it's been.
Okay, I've just sent you a picture on Twitter. That's a really good picture, actually. So go to your DMs on Twitter. And that's the picture I think works for me.
Let's see what picture you shared. I actually found them and all, but now you're making me go out of it. So.
No, I think it's the perfect picture.
So
it screams Doctor Who at me.
It does it? Okay, I'll have a look. I'm going in now. Do you need new? Right, let's see. We should get a notification. Come on. There we go. He did. He sent me a photo. Right, let's see. Okay. I wasn't quite sure, but okay. That does look quite doctory. Actually,
Yeah.
very doctory. But I don't know him, so
He's very. I didn't know him either, but then I remembered I had seen him something else before. But then I watched the film last night, and I thought he's got a lot of charisma. He's got a twinkle in his eye, quite a mischievous thing about him. I like that. I think that if you're going for a younger Doctor, I don't think you could do much better. Really.
Right, well, let's ask our panel. Guys, what do you think on the panel?
He looks really good.
I don't even know who he is, so I can't comment.
Well, that's it. He's an unknown. Yeah, he's pretty much an unknown. But
he looks very, very eccentric, kind of like Tom Baker. Not just the curly hair. I mean, like the way he looks. He looks alien.
Yeah, it's got a bit of intensity about
He actually does,
yeah.
doesn't he? I've not seen him in that, but if someone like that was cast, and if he's an unknown, then. But this is the question I will ask you, then, right? Should we go for an unknown, or do you think BBC need to go with an established actor? So, Lee, you can answer that first.
I think the only person that they can possibly successfully do that with, and who is willing to do it, and who isn't going to see this as a poison chalice, is going to be Michael Sheen. Like, if it's not Michael Sheen, go with a completely unknown. Otherwise, forget all these big name stars that they keep putting forward. I saw as well that our what's his face for the last time, the ginger guy's been back. Chris Marshall is back in the running.
Yeah, I know.
Well, in fairness, right, he was a lot of fans' choices.
I think he would be good. And a ginger guy.
See, there's a lot of good names out there, isn't there? There is like a talent pool out there if BBC really want. I do like his look now. I have to say, I wouldn't have kind of, when I seen that first picture, I was like, Lee is crazy. How does he think he's doctory? But right there, that's a perfect look. It almost looks.
I know. Look, just imagine on the cane there's a question mark, and that's the front cover of the poster.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly like Elijah Wood, though.
That's what I thought when I first saw him. I thought he's got an Elijah Wood look about him, but obviously darker eyes. But yeah, very similar. But I think he's he's Welsh.
Welsh, is he?
He's a Welsh boyo. He's a very talented actor. I was very surprised. I watched him in that film last night. Let me just see what it was called. It's on Amazon.
Seen him in something, so you actually watched and seen him in something. So
yeah, because when someone suggested that, when I was suggested that by Bradley, I went and tried to find as much as I could. I found one film on there. and it was very good. He played Mozart. He's very emotive. He's a very good actor. He's got range. He's got a very intense look about him. He has that kind of jovial, jocular thing, but he's also a bit different. I quite liked it, I have to say. I thought he
Send
was
me that
very strong.
photograph. Anybody likes that fella as thinks he's a potential doctor, I would suggest you get that photograph and throw his name out there and let people see.
I've downloaded more than enough pictures, you can believe, because I think he's damn
send me
hot.
that particular picture, and if there's any more similar to it where he looks kind of doctory, send them to me. But I'll ask the rest of the panel, and I'll go with PD hasn't talked in a while, and then Jack can go after him. Unknown or established actor for you? Which direction do you think BBC need to bring in an established actor, or do they take the gamble on an unknown like this guy here?
I really think we need an established actor again for this one.
So who would you go for? Who's your choice?
I would go straight for Michael Sheen.
He seems to be a very popular choice. For me personally, I agree with you. But I do like to look at this guy. I wouldn't be disappointed if they went
I'd
this guy.
give him a shot, but the problem is he's young, so we another Matt Smith kind of.
I think he's like 29 or 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
But fans will argue now, right? And I'll be a devil's advocate here, right? Michael Sheen would be considered an older doctor. This guy would be considered a younger doctor.
Yeah.
Do BBC play the safe card basically and go for an older doctor in Michael Sheen, or do they take that gamble once more because a younger doctor in Matt Smith, let's be honest,
successful.
It did actually work, and it brought in a lot more fans. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, because we've seen what happened then.
I sent you a bunch of other pictures in your DMs, so you can.
Fantastic. I'll throw them up later. Do you know what? I'll actually do a little video. That's what I'll do. I'll say potential doctor. And if anybody else actually has other potential doctors, send them to me and I'll do a little couple of second videos and throw them up, and then people can comment on them.
More names.
Yeah, go ahead, Josh. Who would you throw into the mix?
One of them said he'd be very interested in playing the doctor, Eddie Redmayne. He's got quite the interesting look about him.
Yeah.
And another guy, I'm going to type his name here in the little chat here. His name
I think he's too big, though. He's a Hollywood star.
Yeah, he's a bit very big, Redmayne. Maybe took a
You'd have to take a massive pay cut.
Josh, do you think he would take it because he is a big star? Like he doesn't need it either, as Lee would say. Lee Halford in the chat said, like, these actors he wouldn't need it. He doesn't need to do Doctor Who because he's already doing.
I get it.
Honest, better stuff than what the state Doctor Who is in now. Why would he? And Richard Madden is being mentioned by Real Super Doctor. Again, I would argue he's a big star now. Why would he want to take it?
That's the thing. The doctor needs respectability, so they need a respectable actor. Also, Martin Freeman. He was in Black Panther. He's a British actor. He's got quite a name for himself. I think he'd make a great doctor.
Oh, he'd be good, yeah.
And for those of you who have seen a sci-fi show called The Magicians, which ended about a year or two ago, look up actor Charles Majeur. He played a guy. He's Australian or British, and he played a character named the Beast, and he was dressed up in like this suit, and he looked very doctorish. So I put the name in the chat. If you look him up, he's about 50 now, but he's got a very commanding look about him. I think he'd make an amazing doctor. If you go to
what's his name?
Charles Majeur. I typed it in the little chat.
I'm typing it in here because it'll be easier for me to do it.
Put it in Charles Majeur and the Magicians, or Charles Majeur as the Beast. And then you'll see how he's dressed and how he looks. He's got a very assuming look about him. It's like, wow, you can see this person as the doctor.
Here's another fun question then. Do you think for actors they should go an actor who knows genre, who sort of has done sci-fi or fantasy or sort of, or do you think they should maybe go for a more like drama based, who's proven that they can do big dramas? Which one do you think they should be going for?
Well, I think you can get away with a big drama person, but I think ostensibly, even if they've not done science fiction in television themselves, must at least be cognizant or at least interested in science fiction.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, maybe if it's somebody who's done like more fantasy shows or sort of more that realm, but it's sort of, they know what it's like to be part of a show that has got a type and a sort of expectation around it.
Whatever shows imagination, cleverness, clever writing, great casting choices, then I'm happy for whoever that is. But they've got to at least have a proven track record of quality above all else. Intelligent and good quality.
Tom Baker was known for his voice. He had such a commanding voice.
Yeah.
That's a huge aspect that people overlook. Peter Capaldi had a very commanding voice.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's no longer with it, but the guy who played Alan Rickman, he would have made a great doctor, I thought.
Yeah.
Right, so it's this guy here finally found the bleeding photo. Right.
I think Jack needs to.
Yeah, Jack, is there anything else you want to add before you do head off, mate?
I'm not, as I said, for showrunners, I don't really have a clue, but I agree with Josh when he mentioned the writer who did Mummy on the Orient Express, and he also wrote Oxygen for Series 10. I think he should definitely be a writer for the show. And I was thinking, as a potential Doctor, I was one of those people who would have liked Chris Marshall, but then I'm thinking he might be a bit too much like Jodie. He has a funny side and a serious
Jamie
side.
Matheson. That's who you're thinking of.
Is it?
Yeah, Jamie Matheson wrote Mummy on the Orient Express.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. I don't think he'd be a showrunner. I just think he'd be a writer that you'd definitely consider bringing back.
Yeah.
It's not his fault that his work got full of politics. But if you look at just the story, I mean, he wrote my 2 favorite episodes of Series 8 back to back.
Yeah.
So he'd definitely be good for that.
Right, so there's a photograph of Josh's choice.
Yeah. Very commanding look, I think.
I will say this. This is gonna sound a little bit bad, but how old did you say he was?
And I think IMDb says he's about 50 now, which may or may not work, but Capaldi was 50 and he worked for me, so.
I get you, but I don't think they can go down that route again because that's where they lost fans. They lost fans when they brought in Capaldi. We loved them, but BBC lost fans. They lost some of the audience because you went from one extreme to the next. Now you'd be doing the same with that because you've gone from a female doctor and then you've gone totally the opposite end and you've gone for an older doctor. I just personally speaking, I don't think that would work.
I did have an idea actually, and Lee can vouch for this. I mean, I've been doing some writing and my own stories and scripts. I'd love to write for the show one day, but I had this idea. Maybe they could bring in a brigadier character again, someone who's older, and I was thinking someone like Ralph Fiennes would be great for him. Someone to have that kind of traditional British military sort of thing, because I missed that with Nicholas Courtney, and then maybe have a younger Doctor. So that kind of balances off that. You
mean have a character like the Brigadier, but not actually the Brigadier?
Yeah, not actually the Brigadier, a character like him.
Yeah, that kind of bring back old unit, basically. Yeah. You know what? See, this is that's all sounds good, but again, it all depends. See, we'll have to wait. Someone says Tom Ellis. Yeah, I agree. He'd be good as well. There's some great choices, but Josh,
Luke Treadaway.
Yeah, but Josh, I will actually let you come back on my point that I had actually said that I don't think this would work, and give you a chance to actually change my mind. So why do you think this guy would work?
If you see him on the show The Magician, and maybe there's a YouTube clip out there I just put in Charles Major as the Beast or the Magician's the Beast, and you can see how he works as his presence. He's got a very commanding voice. I understand one of his roles was I can't remember the name of it. He was on a TV show previously. I'd have to look up his credits. But it's again, the right actor is about a commanding presence. To me, the Doctor is about, just like on the Mummy of the Orient Express, why that worked so well. He works, he's in a room full of experts and professionals, and he owns them all. And I just thought that was all lost with Jodie, who just walked in there and just looked so lost all the time, and that stupid scratch face that I just get so sick of. So to me, you need that commanding presence, commanding voice, a look of authority. Unfortunately, it's all about, a look. So we'll see.
Can I just say we got two guests that have to bounce, so I just want to say a big thank you to Queen Charlotte and Jack for coming on. But Jack, if you want to plug your channel and stuff and your Twitter account before you go ahead.
So I have a YouTube account, Jack Main. I'm posting art and action figure adventure, reviews, and my Twitter is JackMain13, and I'm also on Instagram. It's Jack Niblet Main, where I post all my artwork.
Fantastic. And Charlotte?
Yep, so tomorrow you'll see me on Classic, which is Noel, so you can remember the brain of I can't speak.
Brain of Morbius.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I remember.
And then on Sunday, me and Daniel are back for Line of Duty, and then we're doing a special Doctor Who stream on Wednesday, sort of our extended take on all the stuff that's going on. So if you want to listen to us have a bit of Doctor Who chat that we haven't for a while, join us on Wednesday.
Fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. And listen, the two of you have been brilliant tonight. So thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Yep. So see everybody, and thank you for letting me on.
Okay.
See you later.
Thanks for having me on, Noel.
No problem, Jack. Anytime, mate.
Hi, everyone.
See ya.
A good one. Take care.
It'd be about time to give Richard E. Grant a chance being a doctor.
Do you know what? I was just thinking of him because I was watching Loki.
Just make the Schalke doctor a real doctor.
Yeah. But again, I would argue the point, like I argued the point with Josh. While I think personally, look, I'm not opposed to an older doctor. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to work in the
Not going to sell the
climate.
States, is it? Unless it's someone known.
Michael, you see, that's why everybody
Michael Sheen will work, because
Michael Sheen is loved by both the young fans because he did Stage, and everybody got behind that.
Yeah.
And then he did the second season, which I don't think is as good, but Michael Sheen and David Tennant are just brilliant in that. But yeah, I think he could bridge the gap between both generations of fans. But would BBC go down that route? I don't know. I think, for me, for it to continue, I think they do need to take the gamble.
Yeah.
But they won't. I think they'll probably go for a safe option, but we don't know what that'll be. But look, if they go down the same route again, it's done. It's done. They need to
But in terms of actual showrunner, a showrunner actually harder to pick from than than to pick a doctor. Because if you think about it though, like, I'm in agreement with yourself and Eddie. The fact of the matter is, we probably have to bring a showrunner in that's on fan, because look at the damage Chibnall had inflicted onto the show. I think you need to go down with it on fan route. But in terms of Machine, I would agree. He has a good choice, and he's probably more realistic than what I've been campaigning for since I started my energy review. So yeah, I can actually see Michael Sheen actually being in a fashion. Actually being in a fashion. Well, to be honest, because um people seem to be enjoying having stage and shows like the dominance and stuff like that. So it actually seems like a moral logical choice.
Yeah, I just don't know how they're gonna go either way. But if they stick with the same route as I said, I just think it's done. They're not gonna. They have to understand now. Look, they've had what? They've been here for 5 years, right? They've seen the reaction of fans over the 5 years. They can't ignore that. They really can't. As someone asked earlier on with emails help, I don't know at this point because I'm pretty sure that all those fans that are adamant that it shouldn't be a male doctor will be bombarding BBC with emails. But if you feel that, so strongly about it, I'm not gonna say either way whether you should or not. It's up to yourself. If you think that it's worth the effort, then go for it. I don't know what the panel think. I mean, we did make a difference the last time when they did that scene. We all sent emails in. They said there was a
Oh yeah.
whole volume of emails. It could work. I mean, but at this stage, the decision's being made now. So I'll ask this question: do fans care enough now to kind of fight for this show now? And because we're at that stage now, do we have the will? Because we have fought so hard over these last 5 years. Do we actually have the will now to take that extra step now and make our voices known? Because let's be honest, right? One thing I will give that side, and even Lee will agree with me here, they're very well organized, and when they have something to do, they do it. Look what they did with the episodes, the watch along that Emily Cook wanted to do. They made sure that wasn't done because Garrett Roberts was the writer. Then about human nature.
What they're going to do though. You know what they're going to be doing now? They're going to be bombarding the BBC, demanding that the next Doctor be a diversity hire. Has to be a woman, has to be a man, a black man, or has to be a black woman or a woman of color, or a trans person. They're going to be doing this. This is what they're going to be doing over the next few years. But they're going to be ahead of the game. They are organised, and that's precisely and that's all the BBC is going to hear, because that's what their confirmation bias.
Then I would suggest then that we kind of then start getting our act together now, and if we can get our voices heard over their voices, then maybe BBC might start listening to us. But I think the fans are at a crossroads. We have a decision to make now. Do we want the show to change? So do we fight for that change, or do we let them fight for what they want and go unopposed? And I think it's about time. And I know we fought 5 years and some people are tired, but this is the last leg, I think. If we can get our voices heard for this is the crucial time now. We get our voices heard at the crucial time. This is it. We can actually make a difference. But I want to read out this super chat before Daniel says that, because it's there. And I hope I'm saying this right. I did ask Lee to read it out because I can't say this name. So I'll see if I could say it. So it's Olatization.
Olatization, I'd say.
Right. And it's a £5 super chat. And he says, an actor born in 1978, 81 would be good. Not too young. That is not commanding, but not too old that it puts people off.
Middle age, basically.
So basically, Michael Sheen.
Pretty much.
Well, he's older than me, I think. So no, he's older. What is he? 50 something? I don't know.
Oh, is he? Is he?
I don't know.
Yes.
Well, you see, again, I will be fair to Josh then. Maybe Michael Sheen would be out of the running then because he's... See, I don't think they're going to go for an older Doctor. I honestly do believe that the next Doctor is going to be young. And I know Ollie Alexander has kind of threw his name out of the hat and his agent came out and dismissed it. But I think that they're going to go that young for the next Doctor. It mightn't be necessarily Ollie Alexander, but it could be an actor at the same age range. And that's what I think they might go for.
Well, I think if you know the amount of, I mean, Peter Capaldi's name was trending on Twitter yesterday, right? Think about that.
I know that.
I think it's important for them to understand that there was no issue. It was the original Not My Doctors were the anti-Capaldi league. You know, they were the ones saying he was too old. It was all the fangirls who came in with Tennant and Smith. And then railed against Capaldi as being too old, so they're all ageist. That's fine, apparently. Being ageist is fine, you know, and overtly so.
That's when
okay.
Not My Doctor started, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly. They were the first ones going Not My Doctor.
Capaldi.
And quite honestly, the fact that his name's, I mean, we know his name was trending for the BBC radio thing, but I think as well beyond that, it was. You know, a lot of people talking about him taking the role back again. So I think there shouldn't be this kind of ageist nonsense against the Doctor's age. You know, he started off with an old man, nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Hello,
we've got a new guest joining us tonight. It's Lena. We chat on Twitter, the whole lot of us. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Nice to meet all of you.
Likewise.
So you've been listening to the conversation tonight. Is there anything you would like to add to what you've been hearing?
There's so much I want to say. By the way, please be patient with me. English is not my first language, so
take your time.
Thank you. I don't know. There's so much I want to say. Like, I'm not from the UK, so I don't know a lot of actors. So I only know the most, I guess, established actors or the most popular actors. So like the first thing that comes to mind is Michael Sheen, but also the guy who was in what's his name? The IT crowd or the IT crowd, Richard Ayoade. I hope I'm not mispronouncing his last name. Those are like my two top favorites. But I think I prefer an unknown actor. I think I prefer more like an unknown actor. Which one? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not from the UK.
Do you like my one, the Welsh guy I suggested?
Yes, that one I like, and he looks like a very young Tom Baker kind of actor, and he's got the look, and he looks very mysterious, and
big eyes, big hair,
and you kind of want to know more about him. So yeah, it needs to be more mysterious. I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to be his own doctor, because I feel like I still don't know who Jodie's doctor is.
No one does.
It's like, it's so weird because, like, obviously, yeah, I'm a woman, but it's like I don't relate anything to her at all, absolutely nothing, and it's sad because, actually, this is a question that I wanted to ask. Generally, do you think that Jodie might have been a good doctor if it was in the hands of an actual talented writer?
No.
Yes, no.
Like, she was totally miscast.
Yeah.
Look, I get the whole making a doctor human. kind of thing, but she was just too colloquial. She had that the Sheffield accent. It was far too specific. Like,
Yeah.
you can't tell. We've had we've had the every planet has a north thing, yeah, but not every planet has a Sheffield, right?
Yeah.
And it's too. It's not generic enough. That's what RP was for originally. Was there to be an every accent? Just that's abroad. Everyone sees that as the British accent, right? Regardless, that's how they see it, not necessarily what it is, but and that's fine. And it's easily understood. But I think that her portrayal was trying too hard to play for dad jokes, ironically. And
she wasn't written like she wasn't written like a female. She no screen presence. That's why he brought in so many.
And she's always doing that breathy acting, like she's like she's gonna have an aneurysm or something, or a heart attack. It's just like
with the scrunchy face. I couldn't stand that.
And the facial expression.
The name of its own.
I've had an upgrade.
She only had one expression. That was the scrunchy face.
Blank, concerned, and scrunchy face. Yeah.
But again, she didn't help herself with interviews when she came out first, and she came out with all of this nonsense. Don't fear me, gender. I can tell you now, Jodie, I don't fear women. What we feared was that you were an underwhelming actress that had been given the golden talent, and it failed. It failed, and yes, most of the failure is down to Chris Chibnall, but her acting was just so bad. And I'm sorry, I don't get where these fans come from that she was the best doctor ever and all of this.
Those are not fans. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you now, there was nothing good about her. She did. I tell you what, right? Here's the thing. If she was in Series 10 instead of Peter Capaldi, or Series 9, Series 9 is a better actually example, because that splits fans, right? Fans will say that Peter Capaldi elevated a lot of mediocre scripts during his era. Right? So you put Jodie Whittaker in there. Those mediocre scripts that Peter Capaldi was able to elevate. Can they say the same if Jodie Whittaker was in that season 9, instead of the seasons that she was in, that she could elevate any of those scripts and make them just bearable to watch like Peter Capaldi? Could she do that?
No, I don't think so.
Not because she doesn't have the gravitas or the screen presence, because every other show she's been in, she's not been the main. She's not been the main. Oh, point, she's been a hidden character in every other show she's been on.
That's quite telling as well, though, isn't it, of Chris Chibnall's writing style? Like, it was his choice to bring in Jodie Whittaker, and then it was like she was a side show to her own show. And then, to further compound it, then he brings in the Fugitive Doctor. It was like, and I've said this from the start, it's like if you look at the interviews and then you look at what they did in the show, it was like they were self-sabotaging themselves all the way. I know that sounds strange, and why would they do that? But if you look at everything that's gone on and go back, it looked like self-sabotage. I'm actually gobsmacked. Why would Chibnall do that anyway? Undermine his own. He made such a big deal about Jodie Whittaker, saying how great she was going to be and how wonderful she was in Broadchurch and all of this, and she was going to bring something exciting and new. Like, why did he sabotage? Because look at the writing. Why did he sabotage his own creation, his own version of Doctor Who?
I have no idea. I'm still trying to work that one out now after all these years.
Lee says, give our heaven sent to see how. No, you don't you dare.
Oh, God, don't.
Oh, that would be awful.
Per minute. That's the greatest episode ever written. I don't care what anybody says. It is. It's up there, right? Jodie Whittaker never got her hands on that story. And by the way, the reason why that was good, the script was great. The acting was absolutely superb. It was Peter Capaldi, right? Just Peter Capaldi in a main.
Yes.
It was absolutely spectacular. No way would Jodie Whittaker. She would have made that worse. She would have made that story unbearable. And by the way, written by Chris Chibnall. right? No way. Yeah, actually, I'll scratch that. Chris Chibnall wouldn't even have the talent to write anything as that good. Stephen Moffat gets a lot of criticism, but that episode is his greatest legacy. That's what Doctor Who should have been from him week in, week out. That's what it should have been week in, week out. But unfortunately, he was inconsistent, and we need consistency now.
Right.
I just don't. Who's out there? Who can make the difference? That's the question now. That's up next.
But I think I just want to remind everyone, for all the Capaldi haters out there, that when they had the 50th anniversary special, and as brilliant as it was, one of the two highlights that everyone kept talking about, obviously the Tom Baker cameo, but also the Peter Capaldi cameo.
Yeah.
Half a second, just his presence.
Yeah.
Raving about it.
Yes, everybody yelled. I yelled. I literally yelled.
And I loved it. So I personally think, to answer your previous question, Noel, about where they should go, I think it's up to the BBC to earn those fans back. I mean, I always compare what they did with Jodie to like being an affair. You have the marriage, you walked in on the person cheating. They've got to prove to us that they can come back and be that person again. And it's up to them. It's not up to us to give them a chance. They've got to work their way back, because we were there. We were a given audience, and they threw us away. They threw us away.
Yeah, I mean, I look at, as I said, I get a lot of criticism, but I watched this era of Doctor Who. Nobody can take that away from me or criticize me. I watched it. But the thing about it is, I didn't like what I was saying. And as I said, I'm entitled to my opinions. It might have rubbed people up the wrong way. But we have seen now the true colours of these people. They're willing to walk away from a show because if BBC cast a guy, and that's just wrong.
Yeah, Eddie just posted this, and I'm just going to read some of these tweets from these so-called fans. All got rainbows and roses and things in there.
Oh, the besties.
Yeah. Oh my god. If it's a man, I genuinely might quit, depending on the showrunner as well at IG. I've been hyperfixating since I was 14, and if it's another cis-het white dude, I might finally have to step back. For me too, for real. I've loved Doctor Who. I've loved Doctor Who for years, but I cannot deal with another bloke in the role. I probably won't necessarily keep watching either way, but I won't do is go on Twitter and mess it up for people who enjoy it. If it's a white, if it's a white man, I'm gonna quit. Cool with anything else. If it's another cis-het white man, it'll just make me step back, to be honest. I will quit if it's another man. No white man as the 14th Doctor. No. So true. I'm sorry, but if the 14th Doctor is a man, I'm giving up on the show, especially after the promise of a female Doctor was shadowed by the lack of an all-female team.
Is that not sexist?
Yeah. Sexist ages,
That's sexist and ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so stupid, because like, I'm sorry, like I said, yes, I'm a woman or whatever, but I'm not only a woman, I'm a Latina woman, I'm Puerto Rican. So if they don't cast a Puerto Rican woman, I'm gonna get all triggered and say, no, I'm not gonna watch this ever again. It's ridiculous. And the thing is that, like, the Jodie stans, they're just recent fans. Like, when they discover that a woman is going to be now playing Doctor Who, that's when they started like watching Doctor Who, but not Doctor Who like at least from Eccleston. No. They started watching Doctor Who with Jodie.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't really call them fans. They're just they're
not fans, and they hate being called that. That's why it's being attacked.
Well, I retweeted it. I retweeted it saying racist, sexist, and toxic. Now you know how it feels. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Get the fuck out of this fandom. But the show has always been about change. Yeah, remember that? I do.
I was being ironic when I was calling you sexist. I don't believe you are sexist. You are entitled to your opinions, but this is what you did to us, because we had opinions. So I don't really care what you are saying, but it's just so funny now that you're coming out and having these strong opinions like we did.
Knew this day would come.
And now you know what it's like. But listen, I won't be going around calling you racist, sexist, or whatever, right? I don't care what you do. What I want to see you do is just actually leave the fandom. And if you do cast a bloke, oh, fair play to the BBC. You can go. We don't care. You won't be missed.
No, they won't
Yeah,
be missed.
Those
I mean,
YouTubers that pander to you will have nobody to pander to and will lose their influence
the
in the
BBC
fandom
will
as well.
lose. The BBC will lose about 1 million or 2 million of them, and they will be replaced by at least another 5
They
to
will.
10 million.
Right.
If they make the right decisions, some fans will come back. Even those that are saying right now that they won't, they will. They'll be curious to check it out. And if
Exactly.
the fourth episode is, remember, it happened in 2005 as well, right? In 2000, we found out the Doctor Who was coming back, and all in 2004 there was chat and all of this, and he did hype it up, right? And then it came and it hit the ground running, right? If this new showrunner that comes in can recapture even half of that, he doesn't even have to, even half of that, right? And start off slow and steady, but the first episode will have to blow fans' socks off. But if he can maintain some sort of consistency, what Stephen Moffat wasn't able to do, I do believe over time, after fans like us come out, then if it's good, we'll be coming out doing reviews, we'll be praising it, we'll be saying it's good, we'll be encouraging people to watch it, then maybe we will be able to get some fans back. But they're never going to recover from this. The fandom is never recovering from this era. But I do hope that there's some sort of peace. But I've got a funny feeling what will happen is this. They'll cast a male Doctor, and then all shit is going to break loose because they're not going to go quietly into the night, as they say. It's going to be
No, they're going to
all
throw their
hell.
toys out the pram
And
even
the
more.
best thing you can do in that situation is just keep blocking them. You don't need to listen to them anymore. They've lost their influence.
Just use the same tired, crappy arguments they did. Well, if
So what?
you don't
Why
have
should
to
we
watch
not-
it if you
why
don't
should-
like it.
Lee,
You don't
here's
have
the
to
thing.
watch it
Well, here's the thing, Lee. Why should we stoop to their levels?
because
Right?
it's
I think-
funny.
Yeah, I'll give it to you that sometimes you do have to come out and say something.
Look,
But
we've been waiting for this for 4 years. They've been
That's
doing this to
true.
us for
I'm
4
with
years.
Lee.
We can
I'm with
enjoy it for a
Lee.
month or two.
Nah, but revenge is never the best medicine here.
Well, it's not revenge.
It's not revenge. It's like a taste of their own medicine.
It's a learning curve.
So, like, you've been waiting for it, so it's
Poetic
premeditated,
irony.
so it is revenge. It is. That's what you just want to get. And I don't blame you to a certain extent, but what I'm saying is maybe we should be better than them. Maybe we should show
They are better than
BBC, the people that are around it, that we're not actually the people that these people said we were, and behave in a different way, and actually get our points across in a way that, you know, isn't perceived as toxic by the BBC. Look, we need to actually try do something here now to make BBC listen to us and take us seriously. They haven't been taking us seriously, right? They've been listening to those kids for 5 years. It's time they listen to us and listen to the general public. So I think we need to kind of not behave like them. You know, I can understand it. I trust me. I'd love to go out there. Obviously, I did have a word with some YouTuber, which I won't mention, but they used the Jodie Whittaker announcement because they were bitter to go and attack me, and I'm not having that. That's a different situation, right? This fella has been at me for ever since I started this, so that's a different situation.
Yeah.
You know, with the kids, we just need to ignore them. We just get our points across. If you want to send emails to the BBC and tell them how you feel, how you felt about this era, and what you think they need to do to rectify the situation, I'd say go for it if you want to, right? But we really need to do something now. As I said, this is the first time now that the ball isn't in their court. Remember that, right? Decision is being made. Chris Chibnall is gone as well, along with Jodie Whittaker. Matt Stevens is gone. Done.
And can I pitch in here with something?
Go ahead.
Like, see, like, do, do you think as well, I know that, like, as well, the story should kind of move for them 45 minutes on that, because I think as well over the course of the new era, you've had a lot of you've had a lot of you've had a lot of these episodes, so I would maybe thinking more a serialized on that would be better for the show going forward. What about
Yeah,
you?
well, Chibnall's doing that. Isn't it funny, Daniel, that Chibnall is actually doing that for his last season?
Yeah.
Why didn't he do it from the beginning? That
Mhm.
baffles me. But why do you think he's serializing it?
Yeah.
Just
Point.
just so just so he can take the credit basically. Eh,
What do you guys think? Why do you think he's actually serializing? Yeah, is it because fans have been talking about that? And let's be honest, fans have actually said that that's where the show should go in that direction. Do you think BBC are listening to fans then? If that's the case, or do
Oh,
you
come
think he's
on.
just doing it because he just wants to be again? He's being different again. Series 11 was something completely different. Series 12, he went back to tried and tested and did cliffhangers, but now he's serializing it and he's doing a continuous story arc. Why did you see the evolution of Chris Chibnall? You could see his era. He doesn't know what. To me, I'll tell you what it is. It looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's clueless and he's trying every trick in the book to see if he can
Yeah.
get with this.
I agree.
What do you guys think?
The
I agree.
de-evolution, not the evolution, but the de-evolution of Chris Chibnall.
Yeah. Well, he's just lazy, isn't he? I mean, every special guest star has come from Broadchurch.
Mm.
I have the
Everyone's from
I have the feeling he's run out of rope, so he's kind of he wants to fit too many inverted commas ideas in a joke, too many ideas that he can't do over enough time. So I think he wants to kind of tie it all in together and try and come up with, for the first time, a proper arc. And I think for him to even be able to manage any sort of particular arc, he needs to do it over several episodes rather than 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I listen. He's tried everything else. Will this work? Nah, I doubt it. But I'm not going to. I've given him enough chances. I'm not going to give him any
Right.
more chances.
I
So
think,
it's
yeah.
done for me anyway.
You know what we should
Yeah.
do when he leaves? We should send him that book, the John Nathan Turner, A Day in the Life of a Producer book. Just send
Yeah.
it to Chibnall.
Yeah,
That's where you
send
went
to
wrong.
that to Tardis happening.
Yeah. just love to see the look on his face. I bet he could just turn red.
But see, to be honest, but if there is going to be a fourth, if there is going to be a 14th incarnation, if you're going to campaign, we're all going to have to get behind the we're all going to have to get behind the on sort of the on sort of ice only campaign because we're only have to be
Yeah.
organized.
This time, yeah, I think this is a critical moment now,
Yeah, we're
Daniel.
so
I
close to
agree
the
with you.
60th as well. So very
Look,
close.
I'm not asking anybody to go out there and start picking fights with people, but we really do need for people to start discussing on their channels and stuff and getting behind maybe. If fans do, if that is something fans want to do, the email thing, I'll get behind that. But I think other channels should get behind it as well. And I think a lot of other channels that are out there that are bigger than ours should get behind it. But look, I've said this all before. But this is now crunch time. There is no second chances here. There isn't. They go down the other route. That's it. Our opportunity is gone. and the show was gone basically because we won't
Yeah.
watch it anymore.
It won't recover for another one.
But this is it now. So I'm not saying fans don't care. I can understand why fans walked away. I really do. I get it. But now it's time to come back. Now it's time.
It is last chance saloon. I mean, if they screw the pooch on this
Make or
one, it's
break.
never going to come back.
Exactly. So we
Yeah.
got to make sure that they don't. Make sure that their voices are heard for once. Because
But
I'm
here's
sick
the
and tired
question.
of BBC listening to a small minority, and that's all it is, right? They're pandering to a small minority of people that they're not even fans of the show.
Yeah, 5% of
They're
fan
not
base.
even
Yeah.
fans of the show. And I'm not saying, and Lee is right, Lee said it earlier on, we're not saying that you have to necessarily listen to what the fans say and do everything that they say, right? But come on, for God's sake, if the last 5 years haven't taught you that, and I'm sorry.
All I ask is for someone to understand the fandom.
Exactly, a bit of
Yeah.
understanding. And that's all we've ever asked for. You've got to understand now that you, a BBC, that own Doctor Who, are at a crucial point now. You make the wrong decision, it's game over for that show. We don't want that show to go away. People say we want Doctor Who to go away and die and all of this rubbish. No, we don't. We're fans. We just want to see it go back to some sort of normality. I think that's the word to use, normality.
Status quo, yeah.
And see, here's the thing. Oh, there's the head of BBC gonna have a direct sort of contact because how else will we can myself does anything know if he's got a direct contact that we could get a hold of him and put forward an idea.
Oh, someone.
Sounds very serious.
I'm sorry, that's the local news.
Oh, local news. Anybody want to add to that?
No.
No.
Oh my God, Jesus, you're all gone quiet.
I got distracted. I'm sorry. I just
well,
got
listen. In fairness, this pandering needs to stop.
Yeah, they've got to stop
You say
pandering.
Doctor Who's inclusive. It's for everybody.
It's supposed to be for everybody.
Well, then make it for everybody and stop. You see, this
15%
illusion,
of the country,
illusion that you've been making it for everybody, right, has been a hoax for the last 5 years.
Yes, that's a joke.
You have made it for a small minority of people who aren't fans, just like what Disney did with Star Wars and stuff like that. Now,
don't remind me, please.
Some people would say that Disney are starting to learn their lessons. That's a conversation for a different time.
Yes.
But BBC really do need to learn from these lessons. So I think it's time that we actually,
But here's the question. Here's the thing. Like, okay, one thing is, okay, we want a doctor, we want a good actor or actress, whatever, to play the role of the doctor, right? But what about a good writer who has the guts to actually retcon the Timeless Children? Do you think that's going to happen?
I think he's going to retcon it himself. I know Josh doesn't think so. Josh doesn't think so. But I think
so. I think he's going to double down, triple down.
Told, I actually think he's being told because I'll tell you why. And here's my case, and then I'll let Josh give his case, right? I think that's fair. Here's my case, right? Look at the licenses. Look at how much money they've lost over the last 5 years. Look at the Doctor Who annual not having her face on it. For the first time, a doctor hasn't featured on the annual, right? Doctor Who magazine has openly been flogging the magazine at 50-60% off because they're struggling. Now they will say that the pandemic has something to do with that. But here's the thing: it's sold in WH. What's that bloody Smiths, WH Smiths, right? They've been open during the pandemic, right? But the fans can also order it online, right? But it was still losing people buying it because
it doubled online. It was popular.
Now it's lately the latest copies that have come out recently over the last couple of months have all featured classic stuff. right? So the licensees are repositioning themselves right now. This is why we've got the Evil of the Daleks coming out. This is why we've got what you call it, the recent Patrick Troughton stuff. There's going to be more stuff coming out. Ian has already indicated that there's more classic stuff. They're repositioning themselves now, right?
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because the New Who merch connected to the Jodie Whittaker era is just not selling, and it is affecting classic merch sales. Though that's the thing; it's bringing it all down now. And BBC and the licensees are not going to tolerate that anymore. And I think that's why they're gone, and that's why this announcement has been made now. It makes sense now. These licensees have they've lost millions over the last 5 years. They should have been, listen, if this air was hyped up so much, right? They were promised loads of stuff that has never happened. Now they've been told that the episode count has been reduced. This is why we're getting the third special to bump it up a bit, because the licensees have kicked their toys out of the pram and said, hang on, we've already suffered enough, now you're making us suffer again. So that's my case. So Josh, I will be fair and I'll let you counter argue that point. Go ahead.
Well, I think the BBC would need to clean house. Idiots like Pierce Wenger. I mean, how many of you remember that idiotic statement he made that editorially we're in a good place?
Oh, yeah, remember that. Oh, man.
Insert adjective here, editorially. They are absolutely blind to their reaction. And they think because, at least at the time, they had the license fee, that they're untouchable. Oh, we can do what we want. We're progressive. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch. But that's what happened. People walked away. I don't see, unless they do an absolute blow up and clean house, you're going to get more of the same or even more doubling down. And I try to be optimistic, but at the end of the day, I'm realistic. And I mean, the last time that they had a reverse course, like season 24, Sylvester McCoy's was terrible, his debut season, and it had slapstick humor. But then the next season was season 25, and they made him more mysterious. And it started with Remembrance of the Daleks, which was arguably his best show. So things are possible, but based on what we've seen, I mean, if you have here in Canada, they have NHL and NBA, they'll have a best of season. And if you have a playoff game that's a playoff series, you have to win the best of 7. If you've lost the first 3, you're pretty much not going to win the series.
Yeah.
And that trend, the trend that they're showing us is that they don't care about the fans. They're not throwing us any bones or anything.
No, but I'd argue then they're not throwing bones to the other side either, though. I mean, nobody kind of knows what decision they're going to make. They're being mysterious about all of this, which is the thing that I find fascinating about this. Why haven't they? I think it is too early to announce a new showrunner and Doctor. But fans out there are actually saying, and these Jodie era fans, they're saying, why hasn't an announcement been made on the showrunner and Doctor? And they're even starting to think, well, what's going on? So I think they're biding time. I think they're giving the licensees time to reposition. I think, I think they already, well, I'm just guessing here, but I say they already have an idea who they want as the Doctor. I say they have an idea who they'd like as a showrunner, but I think there's a lot of repositioning going on, because this why didn't they announce it at Comic-Con? Why was the Comic-Con so bland? Why were the questions asked that were asked, right? There was a lot of things that fans missed. There's something bigger going on, and I do believe there is something bigger going on behind the scenes.
I mean, we
also are told different factions are fighting for the control of this show. So, Daniel, what do you think, man?
But that's what I was just going to say. But what I was going to add to that was, was going to ask you, I was going to ask you this question. No, and do you think, yeah, a sticky with an announcement of a new showrunner could be made?
Well, if you look at the timeline,
Yeah,
so series 13 is coming out at the end of autumn. So I'm saying I'm going to call it now. I'm
yeah,
going to say it's going to be the second last or the second week in October. It's going to kick off.
yeah,
Then we'll get then closer to New Year's Day. They'll drop a special. I think the next special they'll drop then will probably be around Easter time, or they will go for
yeah,
Easter. And then the next one, the next episode. Now, this is the thing, right? It'll be very interesting to see where the next episode fits in. If it's shown before the new year, well,
yeah,
then they've already got a doctor
Going to be
and
October, I
in
think.
place. If they
yeah.
delay and show it New Year's Day and drag it out till then, well, then they still haven't found someone as showrunner and someone suitable for the doctor.
Well, isn't it interesting
So
that Eddie?
if you can kind of work the timeline out, Daniel. It's not that.
Yeah,
To be honest with you, a lot of fans have kind of theorized that as well. That would be the logical route to
yeah,
go down.
But isn't it
That's
interesting?
the
Isn't it interesting
timeline.
how Eddie of Scaro said that apparently, according to Jodie Whittaker and that lot, that they're wrapping up filming in a couple of weeks.
So there you go.
So I mean, what's going to happen then? Like, is she going to regenerate? It's going to be left in the air, and we're not going to find or
She
what?
already filmed a regeneration scene though. Wasn't she crying like about three months ago or
She
6
really-
months
That was probably
Yeah.
the news that she was
Bawling her eyes
kicked out,
out.
maybe.
No, that could have been that there and then. It could have been. I
Yeah.
know. I look if they're finishing wrapping up, they've already filmed that scene.
Yeah, they've
And they're
filmed
going straight into the specials as well. No, it's going to be. I reckon it's already done. I reckon there's a few. I reckon what he'll do is, personally, if I were him now, but he's not me. So, but if I didn't want anybody to know the ending, I'd film several regeneration scenes, which I think might happen. You might get 3 different regeneration scenes, and then he'll choose one that is the appropriate one.
Yeah.
Once they know who the timeline fits in. Look, if you look at it, but it depends on the last episode. As I said, the very last special that they've announced, right? And someone has said that the centenary anniversary is in October, is it? So it fits in with the timeline. That's October. So they're showing it before October. I reckon then they have an idea who they want to bring in then. Or they've already made the choice.
Yeah, October's gonna be the last episode this time next.
Right, so
next
October
year.
is the last episode. So they know who their doctor is. They just haven't announced.
Halloween. Yeah.
And maybe Pete Mitigue is showrunner, but I'd be worried if it was him. It could be Maxine Alderton as well, because her name was thrown out, and I want to throw her name into the hat because they reckon that this is what they might do to kind of appease these fans, is bring in a female showrunner and bring in a male doctor.
Yeah. I would look, as long as the female showrunner's good, I don't mind. But they've got to be good at what they do. This is the big
Yeah.
thing.
Well, Maxine Alderton writ the haunting of the whatever that bleeding episode, the Chris Chibnall's episode,
Yeah.
on the bleeding, fucking ridiculous as well.
Probably had to do
But
it
that's
for
the
us.
closest, I suppose. A lot of fans did like that. I don't know. I didn't. I found it boring. It
Well,
made
no, she did
Yeah,
completely the wrong
was
thing in
it
the
a-
end.
tournament.
Yeah,
with it.
was and was it was a cute for insomnia just to like the rest of the era, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a bit dull.
Boring. Yeah, yeah.
Josh, I think. Do you know what though? I think they will listen to pitches off showrunners because I've just seen your private comments there. I think they will narrow down candidates and they'll let them pitch their ideas to them, right?
Yeah.
But I honestly believe that they will have a hand in saying who the next or what preference they would like the next doctor to be. And I think that each showrunner, their potential showrunner, will have a brief from the BBC. I honestly do. Look at if they're saying Doctor Who for the next generation, then it indicates to me that it is going to carry on. So to me,
Yeah.
BBC want this to go on. So maybe they have gotten rid of the two of them, and maybe they are cleaning up house. You never know.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: the main man has to fall. I agree with you. If Piers Wenger falls, if he steps down from his role ahead of drama, then I think we can be cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Again, it depends on who they choose instead.
Exactly. Yeah.
They could
But
go
they got-
better. They also can go worse.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
They've got
have
me-
to give
yeah.
you that. I know you're trying to be optimistic, but I get where I get where you're coming from. You're right. They could go the other way, but do you honestly believe? Seriously, do you honestly believe that they haven't learnt lessons after 5 years?
Well, I mean, the fact it's taken 5 years
Yeah.
and no change has occurred in that 5 years, apart from just stepping up the gaslighting and
so
bullshit.
that's a big fat no then.
Look, they are absolutely 100% convinced of their moral superiority,
There you go. You're right.
and
Yeah.
that you can't break through that. That is a barrier of untold proportions. When you're talking about someone who's utterly brainwashed into a particular belief system, and that is one where it puts them in power and above everyone else, you are not able to reach someone like that. And if there's a whole bunch of them running the show from top down, you are literally facing an endemic issue of such grotesque proportions of distorted views of reality. You're talking about a cult mentality.
Yeah.
It is a cult mentality.
Puritanism.
It's Puritanism. It's a form of postmodernist Marxism.
Yeah.
It's an ideology that is entrenched, ingrained. It's so deep within their belief system, and you have to bear in mind this has been going on now for decades. So you've had it from school child to university, through other training sessions and other things, and socially, and through media and so on and so forth, that it's perpetuated itself through academia and so on and so forth. So we're talking about the people who are in charge now are that generation that have been raised and brought up with it, and certainly those who taught them are in charge of them. So it's kind of, they've created a wall, a boundary, a force field of their own moral superiority. It's illiberal. It's under the guise of liberalism, but it isn't. We know it isn't. But it's so deeply ingrained. I think when you're dealing with a culture that deep running, that's a hell of a thing to overcome. Whether or not they want to make any money is another issue.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know who's funding them on the quiet. I'd like to see that China deal. I really would. And if they're still paying money in.
Here's a question from Daniel. I actually, in the private chat, I think this is a great question to ask. Right, so not only do they need to clean house with the show, they obviously the other things that are connected to the show, like the magazine and stuff like that. And Daniel asks, do you think they will put a new time team in place for the magazine?
I hope not.
Remember, the original time team had a mixture of young and old fans, and then they went completely the opposite direction.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think all of this stuff is too gimmicky, right? Get rid of all the gimmicks. Just focus on hiring the right people, the right talent, people who know what they're talking about, people who can prove it. I don't care where they're from, what their background is, what their gender is, what their sex is, what their identity is, whatever. Just as long as they keep their shitty politics out of things and focus on their love of Doctor Who, and have an intellectual ability to present interesting articles on it. Forget the time team. It's a gimmick, right? That was a gimmick. It failed miserably. You had a bunch of kids who had the same political belief systems, and if you want diversity, have diversity of thought above and
Exactly.
beyond all else. Everything else is immaterial. It's immutable characteristics. It's got no bearing on anything. Higher on ability, higher on intellect, higher on creativity, higher on the ability to be impartial. I think the word is disinterested, but I mean by disinterested not being not interested. It means having a professional detachment that you can actually look at things objectively.
Exactly.
You can still have the passion of Doctor Who there, but you need to be able to have a journalistic integrity.
Yeah.
Let's bring that back. That's not the gimmick, right? The gimmick is saying, "Oh, this is happening, and it's all one thing, and it's all fucking utopia and rainbows," to the exclusion of all else. That is ideology, and that has suffered everything. Everything has suffered because of that. So if you can remove that, put people in of all ages, of different eras of Doctor Who, different backgrounds, different whatever, it doesn't matter, but hire on talent alone. Remove their sex, remove their gender or the sexual identity or anything that is a marker. Like just say send in a CV, remove your name, we'll just say give you a number that you will be assigned to you. Just give us your address or email address or whatever it is. Tell us your qualifications, your experience, what you love, all the other things, and remove anything that describes who they might be, And then once you've done that, you're hiring purely on their ability, and then you don't need to worry about diversity.
Yeah.
Right,
I've sent Marty an email because he wants to come on, and we're wrapping up in 15 minutes, guys, okay? Because we've been going for 2 hours and 22 minutes. So we'll get Marty on. I've sent you an email, mate, but go ahead, Lee, continue your point.
No, that is my point. Just, enough of the gimmicks. We see through it. It's so plasticky and fake. And
fake.
Yeah, and that's the
annoying
thing.
Fake.
It is annoying because it's so... yes, I love Doctor Who since 5 minutes ago, and I think my best Doctor is the green one, and and everything's fucking
and I like all
hunky-dory.
Star Wars. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And it's just enough. Just for God's sake, just hire people who know what the fuck they're doing.
With the BBC though, they always want to jump on these weird trends.
Yes, it is. It's trendism.
They jump on the trend bandwagon, fly straight off, and land in the gutter.
See, the BBC are chasing the youth audience. The youth audience that
don't care about
the BBC. I mean, they care about things like Doctor Who because they grew up with it, but it's chasing this audience. And like the BBC used to mock ITV for making crappy television that was, lower common denominator stuff, that was trash. And they've become the very thing that they've criticized in order to try and get this imaginary youth audience. The BBC has always attracted the older audience. And believe it or not, there are more old people coming down the pipeline, right? There's more of the older people than there are of the younger people. That's the way it is in this country, and that's
hit their own demographic.
You can't just we've got to get that that minority youth crowd, because eventually the youth get older. They get older in time. That's the audience you want to keep, right? Not the ones you want to get rid of, right?
We've got Marty joining us. Hey, Marty.
Hello, everybody. What is the crack? How are you all getting on?
Not too bad. And listen, I will be finishing in 15 minutes. I have the timer set, so as soon as it goes off, I'm done. I have to bring Ted out. I promise Gerald, because I didn't take it.
All right, you're grand. I've just been had to get home earlier, and typical work asked me to stay on, so I had to sacrifice an hour.
No bother. So how's things?
Not so bad. I've just sort of spent the time I've had in the past 24 hours just listening to everything and keeping my ear on the ground to see if I've heard anything, and I've heard nothing. The only thing I've seen is that Neil Gaiman has ruled himself out as showrunner, which I'm sort of a wee bit annoyed about because I thought he would have been good. So yeah, I'm just I just firmly captain him. I'm just heading the Whithouse bandwagon here as we speak. So you know, yeah, just hoping and praying that it's him who gets it.
Anything interesting going on in any of the forums, Marty? How's the reaction to?
Just tell us there's a massive meltdown at Gallifrey base, please.
Oh,
yeah, tell us that.
He's gone. We'll
Oh.
try
We
get
lost
him
him.
back. We'll try get him back. Here he is.
That's what I want to hear. I want to hear a big, massive
Yeah.
meltdown at Gallifrey base.
So,
Well-
Mark, I don't know if you heard what I said, but I was just going to ask you if you've been on the forums and what the reaction has been like to Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall's departure.
Well, it's like a friend has died.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
It's like your great aunt Greta has finally snuffed it.
Is it that bad?
They were sort of, you know, it's sort of like there's some of them that are in mourning the Chibnall's away. There's some of them that are sort of any people who are saying thank Christ Chibnall's away are automatically been shut down straight away.
Yeah. Do you know what though? I bet half these people are just pretend. You know, like in
Fake fans, yeah.
North Korea, when you know the dictator dies.
Oh, where
and
they
cry.
pretended to cry and stuff.
Yeah. They have to fit in and conform, otherwise they'll be treated badly. So they just pretend.
put a funny comment in, and the reason why I'm saying it's funny is because the Sun thinks it's breaking some like wow news. That's why they brought in Vinder. The Sun are absolute clowns. And the Mirror recently for their article on the attack. Yeah, I wanted to ask you all that before we do actually wrap up tonight. And every person on the panel can get a chance to answer this, and then we'll wrap it up. But recently again, Peter Capaldi has been subject to an attack by the Mirror newspaper. He took his comments out of context. Now, the journalist from Digital Spy actually came to me and asked me in my video, because I put the Mirror article in the link description, and asked me to remove it, which I obliged, and replaced it with the Digital Spy interview that she actually did, because she wanted to show fans what he actually said. And then she proceeded to go into the comments of the video as well and leave the link there. Her name is Gabriella. Go and show her some support, because you know what? We need more journalists like her to actually finally come out and stand up for this type of nonsense. But again, this is right at the beginning of this era, they attacked Peter Capaldi. At the end of this era, they've attacked Peter Capaldi. Guys, I want to get your opinion, because I find it quite disgusting.
They just hate the white males.
The journalist has twisted these words, and I followed this very carefully. I've done videos on it. If you haven't checked them out, please do. They're very good, and I'm not just bragging. They are. I call this shit out, because that's why I get the stick that I get, because I don't have a problem with calling this shit out and calling the journalists out. That's why that certain magazine came after me, because I'm willing to call these journalists out when they're talking up there. Right. Anyway, what did you think of that?
Well, they hate the white man's, don't they? He's the white man's.
White cis male, the straight white cis male.
I mean, he's making a valid point. He was only making a valid point where, like, you know, he wasn't bashing the BBC or not.
He wasn't. He said he even liked it.
He turned around. He basically was trying to say what he was. From what I make out from what I've read of it, was that he was trying to say, listen, you know, how sort of like how you can make these words more realistic, and how Suicide Squad is able to do that. But he wasn't bashing it, saying, you know, oh God, Doctor Who's crap, and they haven't the money to do this. He just said,
you see what his mistake was? His mistake was he made a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't fly these days.
And here's the thing as well, that the very same journalist that wrote that trash article, right, in one paragraph said that the show's budget didn't change since 1963, and then near the end of the bleeding article says that it was given $1 million an episode during Peter Capaldi's run. So you mean to tell me that BBC handed Verity Lambert £1 million?
Is that the rate of inflation? That's bloody high, isn't it?
That's the type of hack journalism we have had for the last 5 years. And I wasn't afraid to call it out. And fair play to Gabriella for coming in as well to the chat and sending me that message to put the record straight. Like, but she wasn't putting the record straight. She just said to me, "Could you do us a favor and not give that article any views?" Because obviously she was right. It took his words out of context. So she said, "Could you replace?" And I did. I put the Digital Spy article in instead. So, but guys, it is good to see journalists do that. But I want to ask you, what do you think of this attack on Peter Capaldi again? Daniel, why do you think he's being attacked?
Because it's also prejudiced against his age. You know, there's a lot of ageism going about, and it's even spread into the journalist sector now as well. It's all to do with people disrespecting their age.
Actually, that's a fair point Daniel makes, and I'll let you continue, Daniel. But the ageism with the journalism is absolutely spot on, because you remember when you were saying, he gave up because it was too much for him and stuff like that. So well done, Daniel. That's a very good point you brought up. But continue.
Channels have to be all a sort of an outdoor, because it's kind of slipped on the radar. Because I don't think people have actually noticed how ageist a lot of these journalists actually they are. But though I think channels have to highlight that issues with the identity politics side of it.
Do you know what bothers me? Do you know what bothers me? When they attacked Peter Capaldi, they expected us to just go along with it, but we all came out and defended him. And I think this is why also he gets attacked, because we've been very protective of his doctor. We've defended his doctor for the last 5 years, and we've had to. That's the thing.
They have no power here.
We've had to, and I think this is why he's being attacked again. It's just they know that Jodie Whittaker can never live up to him. And I'm sorry, that is the bottom line. She came nowhere close to Peter.
Yeah, he reminds them of, like, you know, the time before she turned up, and you know, they want to try and destroy that, so there's no going back.
And as he was the latest one and the closest one, that's why he became the target. And they also said some vile and disgusting stuff about him over the years as well, which I won't repeat on this channel because it doesn't deserve to be repeated. But we have seen time and time again the generosity of that man over the last 5 years. And, you know, I say this a lot and I'll say it again. You know, Tom Baker, you know, Peter Davison was my doctor and stuff, but I do like the classic doctors. But Peter Capaldi is up there as one of my favourites of all time. And
he's an honorary classic doctor.
He was my doctor. He was my doctor. He was my doctor. And he'll always be our doctor. And until this shit show is gone, he'll be the last doctor. So, you know,
if you go by what's been said in Gallifrey Base, there's a certain section of the fandom that are continuing to push this further. I mean, I've seen posts of them calling for the showrunner of Call the Midwife, who's a woman, to take over. I've seen them calling for Maxine Alderton. I've seen them calling for Jodie Comer to be the doctor. There's even some of them even shouting Brie Larson.
What?
Oh, for God's sake.
What?
Oh, you're parodying. Listen, BBC, if you're getting your buzz from the fandom, from Gallifrey Base, I would urge you not to listen to them. They have gone out their way to purge
Hang on.
that chat
Number
from having any
Number
real
one,
fans
we
left
can
in
say
there.
number one, we can be safe to say that Brie Larson will never get Doctor Who.
Well,
For
no.
the simple
She's
fact
not
is,
talented enough
she's
to
not a
act.
British. She's not a British actor or actress or whatever you want to call it. I say actress. I'm old fashioned. If that insults an actress out there, I'm sorry, but you're an actress,
Yeah.
right? End of. But she's not going to get it, right? As for the other names, again, right? We said this earlier. You could already see they said that they cast a man they're out here, right? So as I said, they're going to try to influence the BBC. Now this is their chance to actually have their voices heard because right now, you know, as I said, we're at a crossroads here now. The situation's quite vulnerable. They don't have the power that they once had now because a decision has been made. Jodie Whittaker is gone and Chris Chibnall's gone. So
Yeah.
now it's up to us now to make sure that we say to the BBC and make the message clear, as Lee said, you cast based on talent. You know, you get about all that other nonsense.
The thing is, right, they're due to wrap in a couple of weeks, which means that they are filming these specials right now.
Mhm.
So the question has to be asked is, if they're filming the regeneration, surely they they must know who's taken over, and they
Not
must know.
necessarily. They could be filming it and then they'll have it like
Right.
in a green screen situation, so they can add it later.
I think
Yeah.
They could do that,
body
but
stock
I
is.
did say that earlier, Marty. You probably heard me. I actually did say that maybe they already have their doctor and they already have their showrunner in place. Maybe it is Pete McTeague.
Well, I would expect something shortly. If they're finishing shortly,
Yeah.
and they're going to keep these other episodes till next year, and well, if they have saying right for the scenario that they do have their doctor and they do have their showrunner, what's to stop them coming out with a press release now and starting production series 14 at the end of this year?
I don't think they have.
Well, it
I
might be
don't
to do
see
with
that's
a
the thing as
crossover.
well. I don't see them doing that while series 14 is not on air. Why would you you'd be like you'd be sabotaging.
Yeah.
Well, they're
series
sabotaging it
14.
by allowing it to be
Yeah.
created in the first bloody place. But anyway,
But it was like what I was saying earlier. It might be because it's going back to under BBC, the license fee arm of the BBC from BBC Studios, and they can't do anything until it's back under their roof. So it might be getting put into hiatus until it's all over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I heard that they did film. I mean, was it 6 weeks ago or 3 months ago? Jodie Whittaker was bawling her eyes out. I heard that was a regeneration scene. And I also heard a rumor that they got a male double. They got Jodie in a male double. And they just put
Wait,
like a
what?
green stocking over her head.
the-
And got someone to wear a male to wear her costume. They put a stocking and they just filmed both of them.
So hold on, you're telling me that the new doctor, if it happens to be a bloke, right?
They've done both. They've done a
is
female and a male.
yeah, I heard that rumor. So you mean to
let's hope
tell
they got
me,
the body type
a
right,
rumour.
whatever it
It's
is.
a rumour.
so you mean to tell me that like the bloke is gonna regenerate into Jodie's? Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Oh my
Uh,
It's for after. It's for after.
Get
It's
the hell
after.
out of here!
What about
They'll
this, right?
just
This has
deep
just
fake
come
it
into my head. What if Chibnall What if he decides to make do you know the reveal scene with Jodie Whittaker? I remember she was wearing the dark clothes, right?
Yeah.
What if he decides to make that canon, and whoever the 14th Doctor is, instead of them seeing them in Jodie Whittaker's outfit, which would be a sight to burn the eyes out of your skull, what if they actually, you see them she regenerates in that outfit?
Well, we
you
did
saw-
see her. We did see some costume change, didn't we? In a few weeks ago, she was in a dark coat.
I'd love her to see.
Yeah.
I would like to see if she went in the last few episodes into that outfit we saw her in the reveal trailer at the very start and bring the whole thing full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
That'd be great. Yeah,
aesthetically better. Yeah.
yeah, it would
Yeah.
be. But listen, we've been going for over 2 hours and a half. I'm gonna have to wrap it up there. So what I'll do is I'll get you guys to do pluggies ourselves as we always do on this channel, and we're gonna start off with Scottish Davros and then work our way around. So go ahead, Daniel.
Right, well, straight there when exactly to this time myself and YouTuber Royal Charlotte are back back in the peer reviews and during the week on Wednesday, I'm doing a special I'm doing a special I'm doing a special oh for who study email of are and will have an extended sort of reaction to everything that's been going on in the book and over the past few days.
Yeah, I'll check out Daniel's stream because I'm sure from here till he does that Doctor Who one on Wednesday, there's going to be plenty more meltdown and yeah, and that has been. Listen, I will add. You know, I'm on all weekend, so I won't plug every individual thing. You know what when we're on, right? So, but what I will say is this. You know, the one thing that struck me, as Charlotte had said earlier on, this was the first time in my life watching this show that I actually did celebrate Doctor Showrunner.
Yeah.
And you know what? In a way,
Same as.
it actually made me feel a little bit ashamed, but I could understand why I celebrated and was relieved. And I think that was the main release that I had was relief. But at the same time, I will agree with Josh to a certain extent. We're going into the unknown here. We don't know what's going to happen. They could go the way that Josh thinks they might go. I'm hoping and praying, and I know Josh tries to be optimistic, but I don't blame the way he feels because the 5 years that we've had has been an absolute shit show. The fandom tearing each other apart. The show completely on its last legs.
Yeah.
I hope and pray that we can move on from this. But you know, while I might be a little bit more optimistic, I still do have that doubt, like Josh, in the back of my head, that they go the way that they could double down, triple down, and that's it. And I hope they don't do that. But that's my final thoughts anyway on it. And I'll just say, you know that I'm on tomorrow and all weekend, so come and join me for my streams. But Lee, you can go ahead.
I wanted to ask Dan actually if because Beware's dropped another episode of his fan audio. I just wondered if Dan was going to go back to reviewing.
Something I'm considering. Something I'm considering going back to after I've finished them in the jet. I have been considering it.
Because he did ask me. He did actually ask me. Beware actually asked me what was going on.
Well, here's the thing. I'll ask everybody in the chat who would like to see Daniel's Beware reviews to come back. Obviously, he took a break from Doctor Who, doing Doctor Who content, and you can understand that. What do you think, guys? Would you like to see listen to Daniel and Charlotte review the Beware audios? And obviously, let's say there's the panel saying yes. So there you go. And I'm pretty sure that the chat is gonna say yeah. But at the end of the day, look, I'll say this to you. It is your decision. It's your channel. You know, at the end of the day, you're the one that makes it.
Exactly.
Makes the decisions. So
just learn from Doctor Who. Give the audience what they
want. I'm just throwing it out there to show you that's the support for it. And you know, you should take. I will say though, you should take that into consideration when you do make your decision, whether or not you do. But at the end of the day, people will still follow you, and people will still support you in whatever decision you make. And I'm going to shut up now because I'm getting tired as well. This is the thing.
Tired of you as well.
Long 48 hours, mate. Long 48 hours.
Go ahead, Lee. Plug yourself there.
Yeah, you can find me on the twats at Being Problem. My alternative channel.
I love that he does that. He always says twit twat, Melina.
Well, that's what it is. It's full of twit twats.
Twit twat. That's
So you can find me on that god awful den of iniquity too often than not.
Brilliant.
So
you'd be a great promoter for Twitch.
also you can find me on my alternative channel, which has all my VFX stuff on there, which is called Audred Audio Visual. That's AUDRED. If you're looking for anyone to do some work for you, drop us a message.
Fantastic. We'll go to Melina next. Who would you like to plug, Melina?
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing about the twat.
Yeah, no, he does that every stream. We're used to it now. It was funny the first time, but you know,
funny. Fuck you, it's funny.
It's funny, like
for his jokes, you know. He's as bad as Victor.
No, because Lee and I are kind of almost the same. We're kind of like, I don't know, kind of bitchy. I like it.
I too am a Latina
our
woman.
resident bitch.
Yes, you got that Latino thing going. So, my name is Melina Vader, and I am on Titter. Titter. Same thing, Melina Vader, and yes, I'm a smart ass 5'0". So yeah, if you can't handle the heat, get out of my kitchen. But that's so yeah, that's about it. I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't really use it. I'm actually thinking about doing something like this, like what you guys are doing, because I do like chatting, and I made sorry to sound cheesy, I'm gonna cut it short, but I made so many friends. And it's so beautiful that we can all share this mutual hate with the Jody and Chibnall era, and that's how I kind of like formed friendships, because when I started actually watching the Jody later on when I got the HBO Max, it came out. Let's see, 2020, last year, August. So all the Jody episodes were there. So that's when I started watching it. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, please, that the Timeless Children ended like in March of 2020, right? Last year?
Yep.
That's when it aired?
Yeah.
Okay, so in August, I got the HBO Max. And when I started watching it, that's when I understood why everybody was going crazy. And I thought I was alone. I was like, I need to find somebody on the internet that understands that it can't be me. It can't be me. I'm not the only one who's losing my mind here, right? That this is bullshit. And that's when I started finding you guys and Noel. You were one of the first channels that I actually found that you were very upset about the Timeless Children, and I was identifying myself like that's me. That's me crying, because I was like, it's like this angry crying that I had, because like, why they do this, and it felt such a disrespect to all the previous doctors. So yeah, like I want to keep connecting with everybody, and so maybe one day I'll make something like this, like what Noel is doing, and chat with every one of you. So yeah, so thank you for the opportunity. It's been really fun. Thank you.
No problem. And listen, I always say on this channel, when new people come on, I would encourage, if it's something that you want to do, I would say go for it. And I think now is actually the right time to do it. You're coming into the situation at a nice time, and if you've got things to get off your chest and talk about, I think you should do it. And I think everybody on the panel would agree.
Oh, 100%.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's also very important as well that we do have very visible female representation
Exactly.
to say it isn't sexist to dislike this era.
Especially a minority, because I know, right? But
although Renfamous might have
no, mira.
Yeah, another day.
Yes.
Can I just say she's
have to wrap up, guys, so I have to move it along. I'm sorry. Normally I would stay longer, but I've made promises and I must keep them.
Get out of here.
So, PD Rich. ahead.
You can find me on Rabbi's stream normally in the wrenching. I normally wrench here and I wrench with Rabbi. So probably have Comics Gate on tomorrow. I think it's from 5 o'clock onwards. Might be from 6. 6, I think. Yes, 6. It's 6. Definitely 6.
Fantastic, Josh.
Yeah, so I am not on Twitter. I have more to say than 127 characters or whatever. I am on Facebook. Some of you have found me. I'm under my full name. I'll leave that in the private chat. And for those who want to connect, I'm always welcome. And that's about it. Just a shout out to the regular people like us, the heels versus baby faces, the Gary from Neurotic. For some reason, my voice is going. I don't know what's going on.
It's the emotions.
It's the emotion.
No,
it probably is. Probably is. This has impacted us all anyway. You know, it has been an emotional roller coaster, and it's finally coming to an end. So there's a lot of remember, there are a lot of fans out there taking a lot of punishment over these last 5 years with the constant bombardment of allegations and attacks. So it has taken its toll. But go ahead, Josh.
Yeah.
What else you want to add?
Not much. No, I'm glad to share this week's news because I knew it would come out at some point. To me personally, I don't think they have chosen a 14th Doctor. We're waiting with bated breath. But as I said from the beginning, I think the damage is done. It's going to be very hard to recover from this. But,
I agree.
If they made me the showrunner, the first thing I'd do is I'd go back to the Matt Smith episode where they had the psychic pollen, and I'd go back and redo the Capaldi regeneration and say the entire Jodie thing was a dream. It was all psychic pollen. Never happened.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm with you there.
Great idea.
Marty, sorry guys, really have to come.
You can find me on the bird thing. I'm on it too. I'm on the bird thing. Marty Sean _. You can see me rant and rave about a whole wide range of subjects. So yeah, you can if you want to interact and engage with the stuff that I spew out, then you're more than welcome to join me over there.
No problem, man. Thank you very much for everybody for joining us in the chat. It was very active tonight. Nice to see so many. And I want to thank every single panelist that came on. Thank you again. Obviously, it's been an interesting end to the week. And all I just want to say to you is now I'll sit back and relax and enjoy the weekend.
Yeah.
And I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Say good night, panel.
Good night, panel.
Night.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
Daniel, don't be copying Lee.
Nice to see you.
Remember, be individual. Be individual.
Yes,
right?
we must all be individual. Tell us more.
Right. I will see you again, everybody in the chat. Thank you very much, and thanks for the super chats as well. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, by the way.
No problem. Listen, anytime, you're more than welcome on anytime. And again, if you do consider consider doing that YouTube channel, let us know. We'll bring you on, and we'll get you out there and stuff. We'll help you along. Well, we'll try our best anyway.
Thank you.
That's what we do. We support each other on this side, I have to say. We really do. We've got a big, strong community here. We all look out for each other. It's actually great. It is. We're like a little family. So welcome to the family.
Thank you.
Right. It's time to go. Here's the trailers. Bye-bye. Remember, you can find these all on Lee's channel. Check them out.
Adios. Buenas noches. Bye.
Yeah.